Losing time, I'm fading fast. I just wanna make it last. Try to let go of the past. I close my eyes, embrace the blast. Sleepless nights and headache stack. Restlessness to hell and back. What's my purpose? What do I grab? A slippery surface, a heart attack. And sometimes you just gotta believe there's something that'll give you relief. There's something that'll have what you need. What you need. We're broken, it's tragic. We're not all elastic, but maybe there's magic. Believe you could have it. And I know of sadness, the anxious and panic, the infinite vastness of all that is blackness.
Hey guys, how you going? Hope you're doing well. Hey, out to lunch, how you going? Deb, how you going? David, how you going? Thank you, David, for the super. Menacing Muskrat, hello, how you going? I'm in there as well. King Snurgle, how you going? Shannon, how you going? Who else have we got in? Oh, Shannon, thank you for the super. Who else have we got in here? Let me see. We've got Alex, how you going? Who else? Just bear with me, guys. It's been a rough week. Oh my goodness. Hey Dana, how you going? Hey D Lee. I am Kai, how you going? Carl, how you going? Okay, I think I've said hello to everyone. I'm going to do things a bit differently. Sorry, this week my mum's been in hospital since last Friday. Suspected stroke, but she didn't have one. Her friend thought she might have had one, but she didn't. But, you know, best to check it out. She's back home now, so that's okay. My cat, Mr. Smiggles, got attacked this week and injured because he's a lover, not a fighter. God love him. He's just a real softie, you know. So I've had a bit of a week this week. Now, there's a lot of stuff coming out. I'm going to read from notes I've taken. Okay, what have we got? You know how we say that this is all following the book of Revelation? Well, that's the deep state trying to bring in Armageddon, right? Because if they had their way, we would honestly go to full-scale war and there'd be barely any people left. What have I written there? Oh no. Oh, beware of another FF. I do believe that that's what they're all calling for war now. So, yeah, right. Okay, what else have we got? Oh, Biden's in big trouble. I'm hearing they're going to replace him with Michael Obama. Yeah. So that should be interesting. Oh my God. I'm laughing because this whole thing is just ridiculous, really. Okay. Someone had a suggestion to use the FBI building as a museum, showing what the deep state did a reminder not to let it happen again. I think that would be the best thing, once they break them. Because apparently, Mr. Epstein is intelligence, which we knew. The trans are going off in certain places in the US. Oh, well, here too, actually. You got, they are Antifa, aren't they? You got Lori Lightfoot, who doesn't like migrants going to Chicago. She's calling on Joe Biden to help. Okay, what else have we got? Biden's sending troops to the border. Not to stop it, but to process them all faster. And they're coming in from I'm hearing they're coming from China even. They're landing in Mexico and Canada and just crossing the border. I don't know how true that is. Allegedly, apparently. Don't come for me, YouTube. And Trump wanted to send the troops to stop them from coming in. You got another George Floyd happening with the left this week. And Hollywood writers went on strike, so then there were no late night talk shows. Is that right? So the writers strike, no late night. So they have people write their stuff for them. My goodness. We all have to sit here and work out what we're going to talk about. They get their stuff written for them. Oh dear. There's a Senate bill to block social media access to children, which I think would be a great idea. Because it's giving kids mental illness. In fact, it gives a lot of people mental illness. Oh, seriously, social media makes me think I've got ADHD. And I don't have it. The lawsuit against Trump, this woman, her funder, the person who's funding it, visited Epstein Island. Of course he did. Oh, the drone that hit Russia as well this week. People are suspecting it came from Ukraine. But some of all fears, right? Some of all fears. Who did it actually come from? There could be a third party. And by the way, Saudi Arabia's freaking out as well, I think. I don't know why. I think it might be Epstein. Or maybe it's 9/11. All this stuff's coming out. Have you noticed? Slowly. We're finding out intelligence got JFK. We're finding out they had a hand in 9/11. It's coming out, and Epstein stuff's coming out too. And I'm going to go into the news in a minute, but I'm just going to tell you what I've heard this week in case I miss any of it. In case I've missed bookmarking any of it on Twitter, which I have. Tucker and Trump are in talks to have Tucker moderate the GOP primary debate, which will cut out Fox News altogether. And the Navy hired a trans person to boost their recruitment. Get woke, go broke? I don't think it's going to work. New York apartment owners are fighting back against the no gas requirement. And the WEF, I think, are failing. And this is surprising. I don't know if it's true or not, but AOC and Matt Gaetz introduced a bill to ban Congress members from owning and trading stock while they're in power. What a great idea. Nancy Pelosi, the Crypt Keeper. And if you haven't seen them, there's now 3 Tales from the Crypt over on Rumble. I would advise you to go over there because eventually, and just subscribe to me even, because eventually that's where we're going to end up. I can feel it in my bones. Okay, let's go on to... There we go. I'm in the right place on Twitter, at least. Okay. Clandestine said, take notice. RFK Jr. is operating as a Democrat flavour of Trump, waking up the masses to corrupt establishment. They both share the same objective, to destroy the deep state. If they're serious about saving the US, they'll team up. Personally, I think they already have. And this is in response to Robert F. Kennedy Jr. in 1960. USSR accused the US of running an aerial spying program over its territory. Our government denied it to the American people, only admitting it when confronted with the captured U-2 pilot Gary Powers. Americans were genuinely shocked that their government would lie to them. Today, the lying has become so routine that people are no longer shocked. There can be no true democracy when government manipulates the people with spin, hype, propaganda, phony leaks and outright lies. I will establish honesty and transparency once again to earn back the trust of the American people. Kennedy, 24. So does that mean no matter who wins, that between him and Trump, that it would be very interesting. What do I think? Is his name Don LaCrae? That's how I read it. Breaker of narratives. Breaking. Stop doing that, Twitter. The FBI released evidence that Donald Trump deleted 33,000 emails after subpoenaed, smashed BlackBerrys and other devices to hide evidence, had an illegal private server in his basement, had the server bleached to destroy the evidence. Oh, just kidding, that was Hillary. Wow. And nothing's happened that we can see. ALX lawyer. When you said that Miss Leeds would not be your first choice, you were referring to her physical looks, correct? Trump said just the overall. You wouldn't be a choice of mine either, to be honest. Donald Trump is savage. Oh my God, I'm trying to read the last word before the second word. Okay, let's listen to this.
When you said in that video that Ms. Leeds would not be your first choice, you were referring to her physical looks, correct?
Just the overall. I look at her, I see her, I hear what she says, whatever. You wouldn't be a choice of mine either, to be honest with you. I hope you're not insulted. I would not, under any circumstances, have any interest in you. I'm honest when I say it. I would not have any interest in.
When you said in that...
Fair enough. He's being honest. Some people don't like honesty, though. Al, never live it down, said one to... Oh, this is a funny one. So there you go, Al, never live it down. Okay. Oh, look, it's Michael Obama's new workout video. You ready? Have a little laugh.
2. That's it. That's it. That's it. With your arms now.
Oh, that's loud.
That's it. 2.
I just thought, yeah, I'd chuck that in because it was funny. Oh dear, got to have a laugh these days, guys. If you don't, you're going to go crazy. The leftist brains said they stopped replies to their biased BS report. People don't want men in revealing clothing being around 1 to 6-year-olds. That's it. And this is in Australia. 9 News Melbourne. The city of Monash has been forced to cancel a children's drag-themed storytime event after staff were bombarded, mind you, with death threats from neo-Nazis and protesters. Proof of the death threats, thank you very much, and they're just calling the protesters neo-Nazis, their mothers. Police were forced to intervene after well, they got all the buzzwords in there, haven't they? After a white supremacist Thomas Sowell vowed to crash the reading. Yeah, right. Seriously.
The city of Monash has been forced to cancel a children's drag-themed storytime event after staff were bombarded with death threats from neo-Nazis and protesters. Police were forced to intervene after white supremacist Thomas Sewell vowed to crash the library reading. Lana Murphy explains.
With narrow views but loud voices.
Leave the children alone!
A small but raucous crowd made their feelings clear.
Monash Council is committed to child safety and all events and programs are developed in line with this commitment.
And today, they won.
It's really shattering.
A drag queen hosted story time at Oakley Library cancelled after organisers, hosts and staff were told they'd be killed.
Everyone can wander into the library, they know where librarians work, and so...
I want proof of people saying they will be taken out. And why is mainstream media allowed to say words that, hey, us normal people here on YouTube aren't? YouTube.
These sorts of threats and intimidation creates a really unsafe...
There you go. They didn't want me to play the whole thing.
After organisers, hosts and staff were told they'd be killed.
Everyone can wander into the library, they know where librarians work, and so these sorts of threats and intimidation creates a really unsafe workplace for people.
Leading the hate, neo-Nazi Thomas Sewell, who threatened to crash the May 19 event with his far-right followers. Tensions boiling over between pro- and anti-trans supporters at last week's meeting.
Sack you all! Sack you all!
Where police were forced to escort councillors out.
Not an exercise of free speech, but an exercise in hate speech, violence, bigotry, racism, sexism.
Proof. All I'm asking for is proof. I just want the proof. Can they show us who did all this racism, sexism, all this stuff? Show us the proof. All I hear are people saying save the kids and not don't do this to our kids.
Homophobia.
This afternoon, the Premier didn't hold back.
If you want to behave like the worst elements of the Floridian Republican Party, well, get to Florida. Head over there, where your hateful views might be worth something.
Are you going to fund it, mate? Because I'll go. I volunteer to go to Florida. If he pays for it.
They're worth nothing here.
After consultations with police, the City of Monash said it was left with no choice. Our drag storytime event was designed to introduce children to diverse role models and encourage acceptance, love and respect. It's so disappointing that some people have a long way to go before this is achieved. Lana Murphy, 9 News.
What ridiculous crap. That's that leftist brain. Oh dear. Larry Cook. Oh, I put that in there for me. It's a detox. It's a heavy metal detox spray. Don't know if it works, but we might have to see about that. And I needed David Icke to tell me the ivermectin ban has been lifted in Australia, and it's true. I looked it up, and oh God, I'm slow. Oh dear. Ivermectin ban ended by Australian regulator amid warning. Where is it? The newest one here, TGA, the Therapeutic Goods of Australia. From the 1st of June 2023, prescribing of oral ivermectin for off-label uses will no longer be limited to specialists such as dermatologists, gastroenterologists and infectious disease specialists. There's a lot of in there. In its final decision published today, the Therapeutic Goods Administration has removed the restriction through its scheduling in the poison standard because there's sufficient evidence. If I could just talk properly. There is sufficient evidence that the safety risks to individual and public health is low when prescribed by a general practitioner in the current health climate. Yeah, well, it was back then too. They just had to do this. They had to stop people so that they could sell the jab instead. Because if they have something that would fix it, they're not allowed to. That emergency use authorisation. This considers the evidence and awareness of medical practitioners about the risks and benefits of ivermectin and the low potential for any shortages of ivermectin for its approved uses. And by the way, YouTube, this is from our government here in Australia, so you can't do anything seriously. Also, given the high rates of jabs and hybrid immunity against COVID-19 in Australia, the use of ivermectin by some individuals is unlikely to now compromise public health. How would it make sense? However, the TGA does not endorse off-label prescribing of ivermectin for the treatment or prevention of COVID-19. That's not what people want it for. A large number of clinical studies have demonstrated ivermectin does not improve outcomes in patients. We don't want it for COVID. Don't let them do it again. They're trying to. I think they're trying to go on about the Marburg virus now. Don't let them. I like that, even though it's David Icke, just because he was the one who brought my attention to it. Just happened to I don't follow him on Twitter. I was on, not the following one, the other one. I don't know what it is. There's two options you can choose when you're on Twitter, whether to be on people you're following or everyone. And I was on everyone. Adam Creighton said, what's wrong with Australia in a single job advertisement? Are you ready for this one? Manager inclusion and diversity. Suburban Rail Loop Authority, Melbourne, Victoria, Australia, hybrid. Posted 7 hours ago. There's 16 applicants. 175,000 a year to 238,000 or 239,000 a year, full-time mid-senior level. Employees, government administration, 16 school alumni, skills, communication, leadership, and 8 more. Suburban Rail Loop, SRL, is an integrated transport infrastructure and precincts planning project that will deliver a 90-kilometre rail line linking every major train service from the Frankston line to the Werribee line via Melbourne Airport, as well as investment in the suburbs, better connecting Victorians to job, retail, education, health services and each other. Suburban Rail Loop sounds like a 15-minute city. Is the statutory body established to plan all elements of the project, procure builders, develop structure planning for SRL precincts and oversee construction and other changes that will help transform Melbourne and Victoria. Manager inclusion and diversity. They're going to get a trans person, aren't they? Sorry, I got a tickle again. Still hasn't gone away. It's more than a rail project. It's a once-in-a-generation opportunity to plan for and prepare our city and state to meet the future needs of the future Victorians. And we can't do it alone. We're on the outlook for people with drive, expertise, fresh ideas and new perspectives to deliver Victoria's biggest ever infrastructure project. So they're planning all this, they haven't even got someone to do this. But I think they're going to hire. Diversity. It always works out well. The person's not going to know what they're doing. Pauline Hanson, oh, here's another funny one. Gymonomics, Pauline Hanson's Please Explain. A good budget is a lot like a comedy special. It all comes down to the delivery. And I don't know about you, but I wouldn't trust Jim Chalmers to deliver a pizza, let alone a budget for the entire nation. But whether we like it or not, Gymonomics is what we've got. But don't despair. While Jim might not deliver the budget, with your help, we can keep delivering new episodes of Please Explain each and every week. Are you ready for this one?
All right, Jim. It's time for you to present the budget.
Hello. Now, I've taken this budget very seriously. I've worked very hard, but I'm pleased to say that I will be able to return the budget to balance within 9 years. No, come on, it's possible. All we have to do is reduce spending by $50 billion. We'll rein in the NDIS. We'll fix the Inland Rail project. Labor will be fiscally responsible.
Oh, now that is ridiculous.
And I will get the budget back to surplus.
Hey, now, come on. That's my joke.
No, look, come on. It's all here.
Have you accounted for the voice?
He hasn't accounted for the voice.
I'm glad you all find this funny. You know who won't be laughing? The taxpayer.
Jim, come on. Don't beat yourself up, mate. It was your first budget. Oh, Anthony, I don't want to be a treasurer anymore. Don't say that, Jim. It's just the economy. No, that was amazing. I think I found my calling. I want to be a stand-up comedian. Oh, Jim. So I don't know if you've heard about this housing crisis, you know, not enough houses. How are we going to fix that? Let's bring in 715,000 more immigrants, hey? What do you reckon? That'll fix it? And then we promised to lower power bills. That was a lie. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
The bank. We've come to repossess your property because you've defaulted on your mortgage as a result of interest rates being out of control. What do you do for a living, mate? I'm a coal miner. Not for long. Here's an impression for you, right? I'm the Labor Party, and this is the economy. Oh no, it's completely
I like that. Every one of these ones, they're quite funny, actually. Matt Walsh said 11 people were murdered on the NYC subway last year. You do not know any of their names. Over 400 people were murdered citywide. You do not know any of their names. AOC did not pretend to care about them. There were no protests of any kind. That's all you need to know. And that's about this guy who's the new Floyd. George Floyd. Ian Miles Chong said Ron DeSantis is signing a bill to ban doctors from performing double mastectomies and other irreversible surgeries on children. It also bans sterilising kids. Good one. The wokes are, of course, upset that they will no longer be allowed to mutilate children. Who would have thought? Seriously. Dr. Russell McGregor said smoking gun for intent. Benny Johnson said breaking bombshell email reveals former CIA Director Mike Morrell pleading John Brennan to sign his name to spies who lied intel letter, claiming Hunter Biden laptop story was Russian disinformation, to give Biden a talking point to push back on Trump during the debates. And that was him saying the 53 intelligence agents signed a letter. Soccer Mum said, COVID has opened my eyes. My kids will never get another jab again. I've lost all faith in everything. Healthcare, government, media, education system, everything. My life now is only about protecting my family. Anyone else? That's good. That's a good sign. And then you've got this from Illuminati Bot. What's this? This is what's going to come next. They knew. Why didn't the unjab do more to warn us? The unjab knew what we didn't. Some of them said too little. Most said nothing at all. A lot of blood is now on their hands. That's what they're going to start doing. Eventually. You know that. I'm pretty sure most of us were crying from the rooftops. Don LeCrae said on December 24th, 1865, the Ku Klux Klan was started by Democrats to murder Republicans, black or white. Apparently, I don't know, but this has been a long time coming. Well, look at JFK. Their complexion is perfect, yellow, stand fast, good if good fate to their hanging. If they not be born to be hanged, our case is miserable. What? Okay. The above cut represents the fate and stores for those great pests of southern society, the carpetbagger and scallywag. If found in Dixie's land after the break of day on the 4th of March next. The genus carpetbagger is a man with a lank head of dry hair, a lank stomach and long legs, club knees and splay feet, dried legs and... What the hell is this? Wow. Add to this a habit of sneaking and dodging about in unknown places, habiting with, I'm not saying that word, in dark dens and back streets, a look like a hound and the smell of a polecat. So white people hanging with black people, that's what they're saying. Wow. There you go. Chris Mate said, if it's not about grooming, then why aren't there drag queen story time events at old age homes? I think we know. Dr. Russell McGregor said this is a Turkish-made drone which Ukraine has just shot down in Kiev. Ukraine bought and mobilised it. However, they lost control of it and therefore needed to blow it up. Massive and embarrassing admission. This is not the same one that went over Russia, but... They missed a few times. And again and again. Jesus, a lot of misses there. Ah, that one got them. Interesting, isn't it? I've got to laugh at it. It's ridiculous. The whole thing's ridiculous. Masso said, if I'm to be called a neo-Nazi for the sake of our children, I'll gladly wear it. This is inappropriate and should never be tolerated. So again, this is the same footage that I showed you before. But a lot of people are feeling like this now. Don't care what you call me. I'm going to stand up for the children and I'm going to stand up for what's right. Benny Johnson said, how many whistleblowers have come out and exposed the Biden crime family before anything actually happens? Not one, Eric Schwerin, Hunter's partner at Rosemont Seneca. Number 2, Tony Bobulinski, Hunter's associate, CEO of Cinnahawk Holdings. 3, the White House stenographer exposed Biden ties to Ukraine natural gas and Burisma. 4, IRS whistleblower exposed tax fraud and lies. And 5, FBI whistleblower exposed Biden criminal scheme. Why does it seem like the deep state is working overtime to cover for the Bidens? Americans are sick of it. We want accountability now. Good. I hope they get it. I hope you get it, guys. Because the sooner you get it, we all get it. You know what I mean? And I think the whole, there's little threads being pulled from all sides at the moment. You've got, as I said, the CIA being involved with a few, 9/11 and stuff like that. You've got the FBI involved in a lot of the events as well. And, and Epstein. So you've got little threads being pulled from every direction. I think it's just going to pull the whole thing down like a big Jenga tower. The storm has arrived said, what if I told you it was Mike Pence? Now what's this? The storm has arrived said, if a well-known public figure gave up their reputation to help save their country, would you find that commendable? Yes, if that's how it turned out. At the moment, I don't think many people like Mike Pence at all. But is there a reason for all this? Think of it like a movie, like twists, turns, keep you on the edge of your seat type of thing. You've got to try and think of it like that. That's how I'm kind of looking at it, And Polly Bard said, hey everyone, meet Dan Andrews. Dan's acting pretty peeved right now because an adult entertainer from the sex industry won't be allowed to read to young children at public library. Seems a weird thing to get upset about, right? When I said acting, I meant it. He doesn't give a stuff about it. He's doing it to win favour with perverts and people who are friends of perverts but are too stupid to recognise them for what they are. But the main reason he's doing it is because he hopes that you'll forget about all the things he's ruined in Victoria. 801 dead Victorians, blown out ambulance and hospital waiting times, a rotten and political police force, $10 million a day in interest on his debt, budget blowouts and delays on every big build, including that railway thing. It's going to fail. Sorry, guys. Multiple IBAC inquiries into his government. Victoria's slowly dying and he's desperate for you not to notice. Don't allow him to take your focus away from what matters. You might mutate into John Pizzuto and nobody wants that. And there he is. He's an idiot. God, that man, honestly. I'm sure if a lot of people got their hands on him, he'd be in trouble. A fair bit of trouble. Dr. Russell McGregor said it's time for a reckoning. Coronation of Jimmy Savile's best mate. What do you think of that? He was a pedo and a necro and a lots of things. Probably, what's the animal? Oh, I don't even want to. Probably. He was into everything else. Why not? I don't know. Allegedly, apparently. Okay. The Disruptor said, I wonder if I should tweet about the rampant alcohol and drugs used amongst my fellow castmates and producers of Grey's Anatomy and all the swingers parties that took place. I remained clean for 3 years and declined the after-hours hot tub invites because I was convinced that I would lose my contract with the urine analysis at any moment and lose my dear wife if I got in that woman's hot tub. I wonder. Interesting. I just thought I'd throw that one in. I don't know if it's real or not, but hey, that's interesting. Especially if it is real. Cherry pick this, Yahoo News, The Root, Insider News, and people at TMZ, at people as well, at TMZ. Ian Miles Chong said regional banks are collapsing one by one, and the two latest banks to be hit by the crisis are PacWest and Western Alliance. But remember, Jerome Powell says the banking system is safe. We have a Westpac here in Australia. I wonder if that's connected. Interesting. And there was a lady who, hang on, where is it? Lois Franco sold the first public bank before it dropped. She bought JP Morgan, who bought the first Republic Bank. She's got insider info. She knows exactly what's going on. Okay, Jackie Devoy said this doctor is going to be in big trouble. Okay, let's have a listen.
Hang on, start again. You are refusing me treatment because I'm exempt from wearing a mask.
I would like you, please, to wear a mask for this consultation.
I cannot wear a mask for this consultation because I'm exempt from wearing a mask. Okay. Therefore, this is nothing to do with wearing a mask at all. This is about your own personal preferences.
It's not about my personal preferences. And again, I'm very sorry. I'm trying not to antagonize you here.
You are antagonising me and you're refusing me treatment that I've been waiting for since November 2019.
I'm really sorry. I'm just asking you one more time, please. Would you please wear a mask for me?
No, I will not wear a mask. I'm exempt from wearing a mask. And now you're refusing me treatment.
I'm not refusing.
That is disgusting.
Okay, well, thank you very much for coming to see me. I'm sorry that I'm not able to help you. But if you'd like to wear a mask, you can wear the mask.
No.
Okay, that's fine.
I don't do anything anyway.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you so much for coming to see me. I will write to you and to your general practitioner and to your ENT surgeon. I'm very sorry that we can't do anything here for you, and I would like to try and help you, but if you won't...
No, you're not allowed to try and help me at all. You're not doing your job. You're refusing to do your job over a mask that does...
Wow. That's pretty, that's sad. Although I think the guy would probably be better off not seeing the doctor. I don't know. These days. Especially that one. This video was made on 17/4/23 by David Glenn. I've not found out the doctor's name yet, but will. Maybe David can tell us. Who knows? I don't know if they found out yet. Zoran said, I would be covering it up with something while parked. Wonder if it works if spray painted. Council criminals allow developments of high-rise but develop no parking or roads for those high-rise buildings. But will fine you if you find a spot. And President Lisa Trump said, not sure where this is in Oz, but more BS from councils. I really hate parking fees. Okay. 3-hour parking from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m.
So that's a 3-hour parking sign.
Oh, for goodness sake, come on, Twitter.
So that's a 3-hour parking sign from 7 a.m. till 6 p.m. There are no parking meters, and what they usually do is have a guy going around chalking everyone's tyres, and then he comes back, and if you're still there, he pings you. But now, what's that? That digital parking sensor. And they're installing them all over the place in every single parking bay. Look at it. Every single one of them. So that's how they take track of you now to see whether you're parking there for more than the 3 hours. If you park there for 3 hours and 1 second, you'll probably get a fine. Digital technology, 15-minute cities, it's here.
Hey, are they pop-rooted in? You know what I mean. Can you undo them things? I'm pretty sure you can. I'm not saying anything. I'm not suggesting anything either. Okay, just in case people did not know, Sky News Australia is owned by Rupert Murdoch, who just got rid of Tucker Carlson of Fox News. Okay? Beware of Sky News Australia, because they said Australia is leading the charge in producing laboratory-based meat, with protein producers hopeful cultivated meat products will be on supermarket shelves as early as next year. Great. Is that why Bill Gates came not long ago? Talk about this meat? And what? Like, I'd really like to know what it's produced from, cultivated from, because I don't think it's just animal meat they're talking about. And Dr. Russell McGregor said PacWest, this was on the 3rd, 3 days ago. I think we know most of this. PacWest Bancorp, Western Alliance Bank, Metropolitan Bank, all tanking by 20 to 35%. Also, Biden said earlier today, the banking system is safe and sound. Does anyone believe Biden? Does anyone believe any of these politicians anymore? And this I also put in my bookmarks for myself. Stockman Steaks, online meat delivery direct from the farm to you. And I was really thinking about it. 100% pasture raised, restaurant quality beef and lamb delivered direct to your door. My mouth's watering already. Dinesh D'Souza said, breaking, Tucker Carlson got a huge $100 million contract from a media outlet. Who was it? I can't remember. It's somewhere. I know Newsmax offered him something, and then someone offered him something even bigger. So, like, Tucker Carlson is in demand right now. Valuetainment Media emerged as the latest media outlet to try and acquire Tucker Carlson to their platform. Valuetainment Media CEO Patrick Bet-David took to Twitter Tuesday afternoon showcasing the letter of intent that was sent to Carlson. Wow. $100 million over 5 years. An equity stake in Valuetainment. The role of president of Valuetainment. A seat on the board, Carlson's own podcasts and daily, weekly shows and documentaries on topics Carlson cares about. And he said, what else? With question mark. We're all ears, the letter continued. Our convictions about freedom, liberty and truth run deep, and we believe we are the absolute right fit for you and America. While we may not be the biggest media company, we are a new media leader driving into the future to make truth fair, debate and commentary more accessible, consumable and protected. The letter would end with a note that Valuetainment is 100% serious about their offer. And now we're here. I don't know what's thank you, Shannon. I don't know what he's going to do, but I think he'll be right whatever he does. Brad Jasmine said, bombshell, I have inside info. Australia's interest rates are going to 20%. Remember just 2 months ago, the RBA and media said it's now highly unlikely rates won't keep going up. I already knew they would. Not only that, it's going to be well beyond 10%. 10% is the very, very conservative figure. That's the nice figure. I'm telling you, folks, it's going up. I don't know. He said, but I'm not, I wouldn't be surprised. But there is an alternative economy ready to go when all this goes down. You might be without for a few days, a week, maybe 10 days. Who knows? Dr. Russell McGregor said, have you ever wondered why ABC News has never discussed Paul Keating's daughter attending Epstein's New York Mossad blackmail den? How about questions about why he publicly wears red shoes? Answer, they won't. Don't worry, ABC is run by deep state ASIO assets. Kevin Rudd and Paul Keating. Is this why Kevin Rudd keeps popping his head up? Paul Keating's daughter. I think that was that coming out? Hang on, the next one you'll see it. Paul Keating's daughter, and Epstein. She's walking out of Epstein's New York mansion. And there she is with Ghislaine. I think our politicians are all tied up in the blackmail. Chief Nerd said Joe Rogan on why Epstein was taking top scientists from prominent universities to his island. It was an intelligence operation. Whoever was running it, whether it was Mossad or the CIA, they were bringing in people and compromising them. And then when they would compromise them, they would use whatever they had on them to influence their opinions and the way they expressed those opinions. In other words, they told them what to do and what to say. Referenced article, The Guardian. Let's have a look. I've got a bit of Epstein stuff open at the moment. Private jets, parties and eugenics. Jeffrey Epstein's bizarre world of scientists. This is from The Guardian in 2019. The billionaire financier and convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein famously mixed with presidents, models and film stars. But he also indulged his unorthodox beliefs by cultivating top scientists. Like, I'm not going to say Bill Gates because he's not a scientist at all. According to his indictment, over the course of many years, Jeffrey Epstein exploited and abused dozens of minor girls at his home in Manhattan, New York and Palm Beach, Florida. Among other locations. It continues, in order to maintain and increase his supply of victims, Epstein also paid certain of his victims to recruit additional girls to be similarly abused. Now this is where I conflict, have a little bit of a question mark on Virginia Giuffre. She might be legit, okay? And she might have done a deal to name people maybe, I don't know, to not be charged with recruiting. I don't know. That's just where I am right now. Virginia Giuffre was one of those girls claiming in the newly unsealed documents that she was recruited at Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort in Florida by socialite heiress and Epstein's alleged accomplice Ghislaine Maxwell in 2000. By Ghislaine, not Epstein himself, because Ghislaine was... I know Epstein was kicked out in 94 or 6 out of Mar-a-Lago. But Ghislaine, I don't know. When she was just 16, Giuffre now describes her time with Epstein as being forced to be a sex slave. And we know most of the stuff about Virginia Giuffre, but shortly after her sworn deposition became public, Epstein was found dead in his holding cell, apparently from suicide. No, Epstein didn't kill himself, and it's even a question of whether he actually is dead. Epstein's lifestyle has been well documented. He owned a private island in the US Virgin Islands and jetted around the world with rich and powerful men, including the Clintons, Trump, Woody Allen, Larry Bird and Prince Andrew. He had been indicted in 2008 when he walked away with a sweetheart deal that gave him minimal jail time and shielded any possible co-conspirators. One aspect of Epstein's life of luxury seems incongruously out of place, though. He surrounded himself with prominent scientists, Harvard professors, multiple Nobel Prize winners, authors, almost exclusively men. Epstein kept his social gatherings stocked with some of the world's most eminent figures in this world. He would host dinners at his Upper East Side Manhattan apartment and invite a mix of leading scientists, I'm getting ahead of myself, and people from the world of fashion and modelling. One scientist who preferred to remain anonymous told Slate that there was virtually no interaction between these two sets of guests. Sometimes he'd turn to his left and ask some science-y questions, then he'd turn to his right and ask the model to show him her portfolio. I bet he did. Slate claims that the young female staffer emerged in the middle of one of these dinners and to give Epstein a neck massage while he talked. When he gathered 21 physicists on his private island for a 2006 meeting about gravity, he reportedly had 3 to 4 young women in tow at all times. He also met many scientists at an annual gathering hosted by John Brockman, a literary agent who represents famous science authors such as Stephen Hawking and Jared Diamond, Nobel-winning physicist Murray Gell-Mann, who divorced the quark and was represented by Brockman, thanked Epstein for his financial support in the acknowledgement section of his 1995 book, The Quark and the Jagger. A partial list of the biggest scientific names in Epstein's orbit, according to the New York Times, included the theoretical physicist and best-selling author Stephen Hawking, the paleontologist and evolutionary biologist Stephen Jay Gould, Oliver Sacks, the neurologist and best-selling author George M. Church, a molecular engineer who has worked to identify genes that could be altered to create superhumans, and the MIT theoretical physicist Frank Wilczek, a Nobel laureate. Epstein called himself a science philanthropist and donated handsomely to prestigious organisations such as Harvard, MIT and the Santa Fe Institute. Was he paying for girls from there as well? At one point he was allegedly giving as much as $20 million a year to fund scientists. Some institutions and researchers continued to take Epstein's money even after his conviction. What do you know? Like MIT, according to BuzzFeed News, who've now gone. Joy Ito, the head of MIT's world-famous Media Lab, issued an apology last week for having accepted donations for the Media Lab and his own tech startups. Sure. In his open letter on the MIT Media Lab website, he said, "I take full responsibility for my error in judgment. I am deeply sorry to the survivors, to Media Lab and to the MIT community for bringing such a person to our network." He's only sorry because he got caught. Regrettably, over the years, the lab has received money through some of the foundations that he controlled. I also allowed him to invest in several of my funds, which invest in tech startup companies outside of MIT's. Last month, Jenna Marshall, a spokesperson for the Santa Fe Institute, said in the BuzzFeed News story that $25,000 donation in 2010 from Epstein prompted our leadership to decide not to accept any additional funds from Mr. Epstein or related sources. They were, she said, considering donating an equal amount to charity working with victims of sex trafficking. Of course, now that they've been caught. Several years after his 2008 conviction, publications including Forbes, The National Review and HuffPo, all ran stories on Epstein praising him as a selfless philanthropist, like they did with Bill Gates, a hedge funder with zealous science background and one of the largest backers of cutting-edge science around the world. None of the articles mentioned his criminal history, and an investigation by the New York Times claimed they were used as part of public relations campaign to revamp Epstein's image. All three publications have since deleted or amended articles cited by the New York Times. Of course they have. By most accounts, he would engage with his guests at science-related parties, but never for very long or very deeply, often derailing conversations by abruptly changing topics or turning other people's comments into jokes. Still, some of the scientists seem smitten. In a 2002 profile of Epstein for New York Magazine, Martin Nowick, now a professor of biology and mathematics and head of the program for evolutionary dynamics at Harvard, said that he once broke out a blackboard during dinner with Epstein and for 2 hours gave a mathematical description of how language works. Jeffrey has the mind of a physicist. It's like talking to a colleague in your field. Sometimes he applies what we talk to about his investments. Sometimes it's for his own curiosity. He's changed your life. Oh my goodness. Because of this support, he feels he can do anything he wants, Nowak said. I'm sure you feel like you can do anything you want. Harvard's a swamp. Lawrence Krauss, a physicist who retired from Arizona State University, even continued defending Epstein after his 2008 conviction, telling the Daily Beast in 2011, "As a scientist, I always judge things on empirical evidence, and he always has women ages 19 to 23 around him. but I've never seen anything else. So, as a scientist, my presumption is that whatever the problems were, I would believe him over the other people," he added. "I don't feel tarnished in any way by my relationship with Jeffrey. I feel raised by it." I bet you these people had the blackmail hanging over their heads. Other scientists seem to have been drawn to the attention and spotlight that Epstein gave them. Maybe the girls as well. Evolutionary biologist George Church, one of the few researchers who has apologised for having contact with Epstein, which he attributes to nerd tunnel vision, told Stat News that he is used to financiers, technologists and celebrities seeking him out and has become a quasi-celebrity himself. Many of the scientists and researchers began distancing themselves from Epstein after 2008 and have publicly condemned him since his arrest in July. Scone, I don't know how to say that. Okay. Author Steven Pinker, who was flown to a TED conference on Epstein's private jet in 2002, including Daniel Dennett, John Brockman, has recently refuted any suggestions that he knew or had a relationship with Epstein. In a response published on the Evolution is True website, Pinker said, "The annoying irony is that I could never stand the guy, never took research funding from him, and always tried to keep my distance. I think the dislike was mutual. According to a friend, he voted me off the island. Given my long-standing distaste for everything Epstein, it's galling to be publicly associated with him based on some photos and mutual associates." He explained the private jet to the TED conference in a tweet last month. "I have no relationship with Epstein, have no funding from him. Our circles have occasionally overlapped. In 2002, my lit agent invited me to join a group of East Coast TED speakers. Epstein flew to California. In 2014, Krause seated me next to him at a lunch and someone snapped a photo," which happens a lot in these circles. Dennett has since said he'd never heard of Epstein when he boarded the jet. But while Epstein may not have been able to contribute much to the conversations he cultivated around him, he did have sincere interest in at least some scientific topics. The New York Times did a deep dive into Epstein's scientific beliefs in an article titled "Jeffrey Epstein Hoped to Seed the Human Race with His DNA." The Times reporters found that Epstein was apparently fixated on transhumanism, the belief that human species can be deliberately advanced through technological breakthroughs such as genetic engineering and artificial intelligence. At its most benign, transhumanism is a belief that humanity's problem can be improved, upgraded even through such technology as cybernetics and artificial intelligence. At its most malignant though, transhumanism lines up uncomfortably well with eugenics. Eugenics is a belief that humanity can be improved by controlling breeding, selecting for preferable traits and minimizing less desirable ones. Alan Dershowitz, Professor Emeritus of Law at Harvard and a former lawyer of Epstein, said in the New York Times investigation that Epstein would at times steer conversations about how to improve the human race genetically, an idea that appalled Dershowitz because of the overlap with Nazi theories about eugenics. Who are the Nazis again? Epstein was allegedly fascinated with and inspired by the repository for germinal choice, which was founded in Escondido, California in 1980 by Robert K. Graham, an avowed eugenicist and tycoon who got rich developing the shatterproof eyeglass lens. Sorry, I'm still getting a tickle. I'm trying not to cough. Graham's goal was the strengthening of the human gene pool, and he would accomplish this with the repository, a sperm bank where all the donors were Nobel laureates. At least that's how it was supposed to work, according to 2001 story in Slate. Graham only ever convinced 3 or 5, stories vary, to actually contribute, and the repository shuttered in 1999. Okay. But Epstein was apparently taken with the idea. In his version, though, rather than a bunch of lettered academics, He'd be the one strengthening the gene pool. Oh. He'd be actually infecting it, sorry. Starting in the early 2000s, he reportedly told multiple people that he wanted to impregnate as many women as he could to distribute his genes as widely as possible. Several acquaintances told the New York Times that Epstein mentioned using his sprawling New Mexico ranch as a base for operations, and at least one person said he planned to impregnate up to 20 women at a time. Who said he didn't? How do we know that Jacinda Ardern and all these people who look alike aren't his offspring? The puzzle at the heart of Epstein's fandom is how it lasted for so long and why he managed to draw so many scientists into his circle. As Cather Pollitt, writing in The Nation last week, said, "What I can't get over is how Epstein successfully weaseled his way into science at the highest levels by cultivating major figures in the field socially and spreading his wealth around science, the very temple of the pursuit of truth. Call me insufficiently jaded, but am I wrong to expect more of those we rely on to combat all the nonsense swirling around us?" And this is The Guardian, mind you. I've also got a couple of Wall Street Journal... Sorry, guys. Wall Street Journal articles about Epstein. The private calendar reveals prominent names we have talked about, which I did a video the other day if you haven't seen it. Part 2, dinners with Lawrence Summers and movie screenings with Woody Allen. Do I have to pay to get in here? I think I do. What happens if I push nothing, obviously? Oh yes, it's loading. My internet's slow. Am I having a problem with my internet? Are you guys still seeing me? Am I still on? I just got to check. Yep, I think I'm still on. Excellent condition in the stream. Okay. Yes, I have to pay. I'm not going to. Sorry, guys. I might have to join because there's a lot of good stories. I don't know if they're hiding them all behind. Yep, I may have to join. It's not something I want to join, but I may have to. JP Morgan's ties to Epstein were deeper than bank has acknowledged. Yellen warns US could default as soon as June the 1st. A former JP Morgan banker with ties to Jeffrey Epstein leaves Citigroup. See, this is why I don't like them. Opinion: America hits bottom with Trump and Biden in 2024. Do I want to pay for that? I don't think I do. Okay, let's go back to Twitter then. And there's Whitney Cummings, listen to this podcast from Joe Rogan Experience on Spotify, which I'm not going to play. Okay. The White Hot Mike said the enormity of what is coming will shock the world. Look at these people. Remember these people. Hugh Hefner. Barack Obama. I'm not sure. Harvey Weinstein. Tom Hanks. Hillary Clinton. I'm not sure. Not sure. Epstein. Maxwell. Who the hell is that? That's not... Is that Rachel Chandler? Biden. Is that Naomi Campbell? Not sure. Prince Andrew. Not sure. Spacey. Ellen. Michael Obama. And I'm not sure who that guy is there. Oh, someone's outside talking. When exposing a crime is treated as committing a crime, you are being ruled. What's this? I don't know if the music's allowed.
When government employees and federal union leaders use their position to sex traffic children, Congress and the U.S. taxpayers should know. American Federation and Government Union are literally above the law. This is the reason why child trafficking is the #1 business in the U.S. As a victim, I know it firsthand. This certified federally funded report confirmed I was federally kidnapped and denied ICPC. From age 7 to 15, I was raped, beaten, held for ransom, and forced to do child pornography. Department of Justice employee Yvonne Walker and National Center for Missing and Exploited Children John Walsh and California State Union Pamela Robertson are guilty, right here in black and white. Yet no arrests. This is a child sex trafficking ring. These crimes are punishable by life imprisonment. So American Federation and government employees, 650,000 members, chose to cover it up in federal violation of 18 U.S.C. 1958, murder for hire, against me, a 15-year-old, and America's youngest federal whistleblower. America, please. All I'm asking for is due process.
I've been to Cambodia. You can buy a 5-year-old child. I've been to Thailand. I've been all over the place. The United States engages and spends more money on sex trafficking of children than any country in the world. It's an ugly subject that people don't want to deal with.
Wow. For the Prove It crowd, Jeffrey Epstein sent former JP Morgan exec photo of young woman in sexually suggestive pose. That Insider Paper have obviously released. For the Nothing's Happening people, Liz Crokin said breaking on Tuesday a lawyer for Jeffrey Epstein victim Maria Farmer sent a letter to the FBI Director Christopher Wray, Attorney General Merrick Garland, Justice Department Inspector General Michael E. Horowitz demanding an inquiry into the FBI's failure to seriously investigate Epstein and Ghislaine. Yeah, about that letter. Future proves past. Jez Staley accused of aggressively attacking Jeffrey Epstein victim with his permission. About that letter, let's pray some floodgates break wide open. The IG is duty bound to look into this issue. There you go. This is disgusting, seriously. It needs to be looked into. 40 Heads said there's a lot of speculation about what will happen once Charles is officially coronated on May the 6th. This coming weekend, his official title, power and authority will be forever recognised as that day. Isn't it ironic a perfect 3-year delta of May 6 speaks of the game being over for Adam Schiff because of an apparent Trump order release of classified documents? Sorry, Adam, but the game is now over. It doesn't end here. Locked on target. It takes time to remove and install the right people. Sleepers, we are ready. It is happening. Okay, I mean, therefore I am, said Biden's crime family are pieces of, and these are indisputable facts which Democrats don't want to admit. Jill was cheating on her husband with Joe Biden. Was she? Okay. I thought she was a babysitter. Biden lied and accused his wife and daughter's death to score sympathy points while pursuing his political career. Thank you, Stu, for becoming a member. Okay, where was I? Biden was taking inappropriate showers with his daughter Ashley. Ashley and Hunter had hardcore substance abuse issues and went through multiple rehabs. Hunter got kicked out of the military for cocaine use, which his father lied about. Hunter was not only a drug addict, but regular customer of paid sex workers. Hunter, while married, had a relationship with his brother's widow, which Jill and Joe approved. Hunter called his father Pedo Peter. Biden lied and used his son Beau's death multiple times to score points. Jill and Joe to this day refuse to acknowledge out-of-wedlock Hunter's 4-year-old daughter. Hunter denied to be a father of his daughter, Navy. denied to meet her and denied her to take his last name. Hunter currently spends $855 per hour for his lawyer just to lower his alimony payments. Jill knows about her husband showering with his daughter, accusation against him for sexual misconduct, his inappropriate touching of little children, and mental decline. In 2020, when Jill said decency is on the ballot, she knew she was lying about her family, frivolity, and indecorum. Entire Biden family is garbage family, and most people knew about it before the selection in which he was selected. Democrats didn't and don't care because they want these puppets in the White House. I do believe he's about to be thrown under the bus, though. There's so much coming out about Biden and Hunter that they're going to go. And Michelle or Michael is going to come in. Clark Cooley said it isn't easy under Albanese this week. We've had an interest rate hike, 15% tax hike, ban on recreational vaping, a potential cut to youth job seeker, another rise in house prices, and a PM attending a wedding with a convicted drug dealer, and it's only Tuesday. He attended a wedding of a heroin dealer. Senator Alex Antic, in Australia, the communists didn't storm the buildings, they changed what occurred inside them. Schools, universities, churches, media and government departments were all targeted in the long march through the institutions. Let's have a listen.
If you think communism was defeated with the fall of the Berlin Wall, think again. The late great Margaret Thatcher once said, "Communism never sleeps, never changes its objectives, nor must we." While the methods communists use to achieve their objectives have changed, their aims remain the same. Friedrich Engels, the co-author of the Communist Manifesto, described the aims of communism like this. The abolition of private property is, doubtless, the shortest and most significant way to characterise the revolution in the whole social order which has been made necessary by the development of industry, and for this reason it's rightly advanced by the communists as their main demand. Simply put, the goal of communism or socialism is you'll own nothing and you'll be happy. I think you've heard that before recently. Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels co-published the Communist Manifesto in 1848. In it, they outlined the aims of the growing communist movement in Europe. Marx wrote, "The proletariat, the working class, will use its political supremacy to wrest by degrees all capital, that's money and property, from the bourgeoisie to centralise all instruments of production in the hands of the state. This cannot be effected except by means of measures, therefore, which necessitates further inroads upon the old social order." In other words, the working class must unite and seize all of the land and property from the landowners and place everything under the control of the new communist state. This would supposedly bring an end to economic inequality, but how would the revolution come about? Well, with further inroads upon the old social order. The old social order is essentially the traditional family structure and landowners in general. Marx viewed the family as the vehicle that transmitted the bourgeoisie values that opposed communism, going so far as to write, "Abolition of the family, even the most radical flare up at this infamous proposal of the communists. On what foundation is the present family, the bourgeoisie family, based? On capital, on private gain. The bourgeoisie family will vanish as a matter of course with the vanishing of capital." In some sense, Marx was right. The family and the church are great defenders against communism, which is why the communists want to dismantle them. Russia experienced a communist revolution in 1917, but in Western nations, the communist strategy had to shift to what has been called the long march through the institutions. In 1915, the Italian Marxist Antonio Gramsci wrote, "Socialism is precisely the religion that must overwhelm Christianity. In the new order, socialism will triumph by first capturing the culture via the infiltration of schools, universities, churches, and the media by transforming the consciousness of society."
You're not trying to capture the barracks and the post office and the railway station and advance on the Winter Palace wearing fur hats and carrying bayonets. What you capture is the television studio and the comprehensive school and the...
Oh, I knew it was going to do that. I was trying to stop it from doing it.
The barracks and the post office and the railway station and advance on the Winter Palace wearing fur hats and carrying bayonets. What you capture is the television studio and the comprehensive school and the university and the law office and the courtroom. And you also capture everything. You capture literature and the way it's taught. You capture history as well.
In Australia, the communists didn't storm the buildings. They changed what happens within them. When you control the schools, you indoctrinate the children into progressive ideology. When you control the media, you bombard people with left-wing propaganda. When you control the universities, you promote socialism and identity politics rhetoric and demonise traditional morality and Western history. When you control the churches, you conflate Marxism with Christianity. When you control the bureaucracies, you demonise religion and impose cumbersome taxes. At every point, you attack the traditional nuclear family. The idea is that if you repeat and enforce a lie enough, it can't be resisted. Strong families make a strong nation of independent citizens. A return to these values across Australia will see our nation becoming freer and flourishing. We must snip the bureaucratic red tape, scrap the burdensome taxes, and preserve the old social order of religion, family, and private property. Communism never sleeps, but if we understand it, we can defeat it.
And that's where they got Australians away from God. A lot of Australians seem to have drifted away from God. Liz Krogan said in 2012 Tom Hanks took photos with a kid who reportedly pretended to be passed out. Nothing creepy about this at all. Nothing at all. Liz Krogan said, anyone else find it strange Tom Hanks hasn't tweeted in 3 years? He has a history of posting bizarre tweets, often highlighting children's items like this in random places around the world. Nothing to see here. Is that a message to someone? Telling them, I did it. Because some people think that he was a person who got rid of people who needed to be got rid of. Tom Hanks said, kid's sock washed ashore, lost ashore, Bondi Beach, New South Wales. Oh my God, get out of Australia. That was 3 years ago. I hope he's not here anymore. Hopefully he's not hiding here or in New Zealand. Okay, Nick Holt said the crooked Australian government generated $14.3 billion in revenue last year from tobacco tax. That's how much tax we pay in our cigarettes. That's why they're pushing so hard to ban vaping. They can't tax it. Tobacco smoking remains the leading preventable cause of death and disease in Australia. That's why I'm trying to give up. And by the way, I have fallen again. I keep going for a few days, I'm all right. It's like this, you know. What do you do? But I'm trying and spending a lot less on cigarettes because I keep giving up for 3 days at a time. Tom Fitton said Hunter Biden... I'll keep going until I stop, I'll tell you. Hunter Biden and his lawyers are ripped into Arkansas judge for sealing and redacting his financial information as he faces his baby mama in court over payments of 4-year-old daughter. Judge Holly Mayer ripped into Hunter Biden and his legal team for sealing and redacting the financial information. She suggests lawyers for London Roberts subpoena a downtown Manhattan art gallery to find out how much he made from selling his art. The hearing marks the first time Roberts, 32, and Biden, 53, came face to face since she gave birth to his daughter, Navy Joan, now 4. Sounds like Biden... Hunter Biden likes them young too. Fair Dinkum said, do not donate to these charities. We know he likes them. We've seen the videos. It's disgusting. Oh, Jesus. I've seen the pictures from the videos with little children. Don't bother donating to these charities, spread far and wide. As just reported on Channel 10, Red Cross raised $95 million, allocated $30 million to fire relief. They intended to hold the money for future disasters and approved 559 grants, probably to their friends. So, yeah, during the fires in Australia a few years ago, They raised a lot of money and not much of it went to the people at all. And that's where people around the world were giving money, thinking it was going to go to the Australian people. The Salvation Army raised $40 million and $5 million was handed over. Where'd the other $35 million go? Like this, where'd the other $65 million go? St Vincent de Paul raised $12,500,000 and spent just $1 million. If I had donated to these charities, which I haven't, I would be demanding my money back. This is appalling when people in other fire-ravaged areas are living in tents. And by the way, I think there's a fire going through Canada at the moment. Am I right? I think Canada's having some pretty intense fires going on there. Oh, James Woods said the trans crap is all nonsense, a smokescreen. Bank failures, rampant crime, a wide open border, gun grabbers, our sidewalks befouled with needles and human waste, mass fentanyl deaths, China ready to take Taiwan, and possibly an impaired president. These are the real problems. Ah, what's this? Fish, oh, what's going on here? It's alleged this chair is for sale from an NDIS supplier for $1,100, right? So medical chair, right? $96 says they're at Bunnings. What are you talking about? Exactly. $96 from Bunnings, $1,100 billed to the government from an NDIS provider. So that's the National Disability Insurance Scheme. Is being ripped. Everyone knows. I don't know why the government doesn't realise this. That people who apply for, is it a tender at the government to get the job, right? They normally inflate the prices. I thought everybody knew that. I knew it back in the 90s. So you can buy it $96 from Bunnings, but this person from the NDIS said it cost them $1,100 and billed that to the government. That's people's taxpayer money. Big rip-off. What was this one? Hang on one sec.
Say something. Yes. Okay, Senator Ron Johnson says that Blinken said he never emailed Hunter Biden, except they have the laptop where he emails Hunter Biden. So I don't know that you need to put anyone under oath anymore. That's a lie right there. 18 U.S.C. 1001.
Boom.
1001.
Well, then someone hold them accountable, for God's sake. Okay, concerned citizen said France. Police retreating under barrage of projectiles. Mind you, this was like 4 days ago. What happens when the police realise they're on the wrong side of history? Will dictator Macron call in the military? They're running. The police are running. Do you really think the military is going to help them? I don't think these people have control of the military at all. I don't think Joe Biden has control of the military. He may have a small number, but I really don't think they have control of anything. Think about it. Half of it looks like CGI. Like, not this, but I mean, like Biden sitting in the White House. Look, it's CGI. Then we got this one, NuzzFeed. In 1975, Stephen King was one ugly creep. Yeah. That's enough to scare you. He should have just put his own face on his horror movies. And I know he was in most of his horror movies. But, yeah, he wasn't a pretty sight. Looks crazy too. Awakened Outlaw said, if you weren't already aware, just wait until you find out about the true scope, depth and breadth of the child sex trafficking network being managed worldwide. Not going to lie, the details are going to be 100% gut-wrenching, but we can't avert our eyes when it does. And if that isn't bad enough, all on its lonesome, it's the next reveal that's really going to knock your socks off. Speaking of these evil pricks, I wonder how they're all sleeping these days. Yep, it's going to shock a lot of people, especially people who have no idea this is going on. Isaac's Army said never forget the NYPD officers who viewed Hillary Clinton's frazzle drip video and all got suicided. We need the truth. Out of the 12 police officers that viewed Anthony Weiner's insurance file on his laptop, 9 of them have committed, might even be higher now, but 9 of them committed suicide. Arkin-sided. Clinton-sided. General Flynn's lawyer, Sidney Powell, exposes Weiner laptop contents. I believe they first came... The Weiner's laptop came out of WikiLeaks. Came from Julian Assange. Russell McGregor, Dr. Russell McGregor, said ASIO knows full well 9/11 was an inside deep state job. They are complicit in the cover-up. The Australian Securities... What is it? Australia, I don't even know what ASIO stands for. Not intelligence, because they're not. I think my cat's snoring. John Mappen said, how many more celebrities are going to die before 6 celebrities worth their salt stand up and state that their friends have been murdered by lethal injection? Honestly, it's like watching unconscious lemmings dance at their own demise. Come on, you Hollywood bastards. You can't all be pedos. There must be 6 of you that can still fog a mirror, that can stand up for the truth and still have sufficient integrity to call out genocide when it's right in front of your face. That seems like that was how it was meant to be said. Probably even louder and more intense than I did. Radar said new JP Morgan could be liable for Epstein's sex trafficking, and former executive Jez Staley knew about it. Routers. If. I'm pretty sure they did. Oh, this is Rep Stacey Plaskett, who attacked Matt Taibbi, who's been releasing a lot of the Twitter files, and Michael Schellenberger, who's also been releasing a lot of the Twitter files. Recently, at a congressional hearing, she took multiple contributions from Epstein. Question, did she ever return the money? That's all you need to know. She took money from Epstein. She's going against Matt Taibbi and Michael Schellenberger. Okay, Kevin, we're the people, said Jeffrey Epstein had this painting in his house, George Bush, with 2 paper planes and 2 Jenga towers that are collapsed. I think I know exactly what this painting is referring to. Twin Towers? 9/11, CIA. Bush. He was CIA, wasn't he? Okay, Epstein's sheet said they're admitting to cloud seeding to change the weather on The View. Imagine what they're not admitting to. Let's have a listen.
Cloud seeding is something that I studied in school for meteorology, weather modification. Back when I went to school, it was like, I've poo-pooed a little bit. It was too expensive, it's not efficient enough. Well, guess what? When you get desperate, and then technology gets better. 20 years later, here we are. Cloud seeding is ramping up so big. You see me there showing that flare on the plane. They send silver iodide into the clouds, and then it makes it snow more. Oh, wow. So they can't make a cloud, right? But they're taking storms that are already there and then giving it a little boost. So this is not, that part's not new. What's new is they have hundreds of these ground cloud seeders. So they're actually puffing the silver iodide with a flare. And you see, I think I have a picture of the actual ground cloud seeder into the air. That thing sits all over the Rocky Mountains, all over the American West. 10 states are doing this. Yeah. And I wanted to tell this story because my friend Russ is the state climatologist of Colorado. And he said, you got to see what's happening with, cloud seeding. Cloud seeding is something that I studied.
She nearly let it spill then. Climate change. She was about to say, he was going to tell her about climate. Listen to this. Listen to it again. Hang on one sec.
Climatologist of Colorado, and he said, you got to see what's happening with cloud seeding.
With climate change, she was going to say. They're doing it. And seriously, look. What's his name from Top Gear? Jeremy Clarkson sorry, I'm having a bit of a stretch. He mentioned it in Top Gear. He did a special on it, going out to NASA to see them create rain. It's been going on for a long time. Gulag Thought Crime Prevention said, replying to GR Dector, Let's not forget JP Morgan's Jamie Dimon to be interviewed under oath in Epstein case. Of course, nothing will come of it. So there's that. And this... Oh, my goodness. Mate, you're with the wrong person there. Oh, my goodness. Seriously. If you've seen what that guy did... Green Lives Matter said thread, Guardians of the Pedos, Epstein, James Gunn, Disney, Mossad, CIA, Balenciaga, former presidents, globalists, Guardians of the Pedos. What's this? Is it a thread? The real Roseanne's son reads James Gunn's blatant pedo tweets as he points as how she was cancelled by the same company for a tweet while James was bought back to Disney after an 11-month vacation. How can anyone defend this?
Working, still has not been hired back. She had to sign away the show. I mean, the punishment she faced for this one tweet is unprecedented. Why is she not forgiven? What did she do that was so bad? Because if you're going to tell me, oh, she has a history of offensive tweets, and that's why Disney and ABC let her go, well, James Gunn was just rehired, as I said, by Disney. It's the same company. And here's some James Gunn tweets, in case you didn't know. I like it when little boys touch me in my silly place. The Expendables was so manly, I fucked the shit of the little pussy boy next to me. I remember my first NAMBLA meeting. These are all different tweets, by the way. I remember my first NAMBLA meeting. It was the first...
NAMBLA is the North American Man-Boy Love Association.
First time I felt okay with being who I am. Some of those guys are still my BFFs. NAMBLA is the North American Man-Boy Love Association. It's a pedophile group. I'm doing a big Hollywood film adaptation of The Giving Tree with a happy ending. The tree grows back and gives the kid a blowjob. Now, there were 20,000 tweets that James Gunn deleted once these started coming back up. So these are just the ones you could find. I don't know how many more there are. But, again, my mother was fired, had her show stolen, labeled a racist for one tweet. There are a multitude of child molestation jokes by James Gunn, and he's back at Disney right now. He had an 11-month vacation, essentially. He's back. And it's confusing. It's very confusing for me, even if it's not my mother I'm talking about, just objectively, as a fan, or just as a normal person. Looking at the situation, why is there an obvious double standard here? Why is she not getting the same treatment as James Gunn? And it's not just James Gunn. I'm not going to get into all the tweets that other celebrities have said, but she's not the first celebrity to tweet something that got her in hot water. It happens almost every day. And people have said way worse shit than her one tweet. I want to know why there is unprecedented punishment for one tweet that can wipe out 30 years of action, because James Gunn doesn't have 30 years of action of activism. He has 30 years of child fucking jokes. That's it.
Oh dear. Sorry, I didn't realise that was going to come out. When James Gunn called Marvel's president, he didn't know if it was a big deal or not if he made all those child predator jokes. The president was in shock that he was fired, but apparently not alarmed at the damning tweets. Who jokes about these things? James Gunn deleted over 20,000 tweets in a panic as people began to expose his sick jokes. You heard that number, right? Imagine what might have been contained in the tweets that were not seen. I don't even want to read this. This is disturbing, disgusting tweets. We're just going to hang on.
And tweeted it, go from James Gunn since 2007, July 3rd, until 2012, November 24th. He meant to type this into the search bar and accidentally tweeted it, called out by a fan. That goes into the search bar, King. James is trying to delete his entire Twitter history from these dates. And here are the tweets. Here are some of them that have been scrubbed. And they have all been archived, thankfully, for the FBI, and they're here. I don't know, blow them up. In this, I don't know who this person is. I understand that this girl was 13 years old when this tweet was written. These are all pedophile. I'm so sorry for the language. Again, I'm glad I gave you the warning. I hope maybe your kids don't need to see this at all. This is disturbing, highly disturbing, disgusting tweets. Now, somebody pointed out his fans are panicking. His fans are really nervous. His fans are saying, yeah, he's just joking. These aren't funny, and maybe one pedophile joke in a lifetime. This many pedophile jokes about kids, sex with kids. It's hard not to be concerned. Okay, it's hard not to. I'm not going to read any of these. I'm just showing you. You can read them. Feel free. It's hard not to draw conclusions about this gentleman. It's hard. You know, I mean, he has said he is panicking now and saying, "Look, I made a lot of edgy jokes. Well, okay, fine. You know, I made edgy jokes too. My jokes were not about kids."
And that's obviously where that ends. James Gunn was mentioned in a lawsuit in 2021 that alleged that James Gunn was hosting a pedo-themed party with rabbit suits. Okay, so filed New York, Elektra Entertainment Group Inc., Warner Communications LLC, Warner Music Group Corp., James Uringer, Joseph J. Gallus, and Doze15, whose identities are unknown to plaintiff. A man wearing a masked full-body rabbit suit at a pedo-themed party surfaced publicly. That party was hosted by director James Gunn, and upon information and belief, attendees to the party were encouraged to dress like pedos and abuse victims. And there's actual, knowledge and reports of Uringer's pedo continue to circulate to this day. Recently, pictures of Uringer's wife Chantel and a man wearing a masked full-body rabbit suit at a pedo-themed party surfaced publicly. Upon information and belief, the man wearing the rabbit suit is Uringer. That party was hosted by director James Gunn. Upon information and belief, attendees to the party were encouraged to dress like pedos and abuse victims such as children. Abuse victims. A copy of these pictures are annexed here to marked Exhibit C, hereby made a part hereof. I don't know about you, but I've never seen a normal everyday person encourage this kind of joke. Is there something more going on? Why did Disney Marvel rehire Gunn after such damning evidence being presented? Is it because Disney encourages the same kind of abuse? Yes, it is. They stopped at Epstein Island, the cruise ships. Photos surface of Guardian director James Gunn at pedophile-themed party. Just let that sink in. Why was this man wearing a white rabbit outfit at a pedo-themed party, you ask? Well, why don't you ask Balenciaga, the modelling company that recently made waves after promoting disturbing images? It must be a coincidence that the white rabbit is in those images. There and there. It's a pedo symbol. Those poor kids. I hope those kids are all right. Hollywood's silence on Balenciaga spoke volumes. They are only interested in cancelling those who disagree with them, yet when it comes to children, there seems to be little to no concern. TV presenter goes off about Balenciaga and Hollywood hypocrisy.
The outrage. I'm going to go off for a minute here because where is the outrage? It's been a week and a half and now we're doing this story. I get it. Thanksgiving was happening and all that, but they tried to hide behind that, right? Maybe this will make it through the news cycle. No, it's not. Okay. Adidas didn't cut ties 48 hours after Kanye did his whole thing, right? And they got lambasted for not speaking out against anti-Semitism. This is a week and a half and nobody seems to care that there's little kids involved in this. I can't speak what it's like to be a black man, right? I can't speak what it's like to be a Jewish woman, but I can speak what it's like to be a father of two young boys. And that this type of behavior. When I worked at CBS.com out of a little closet my first show, I was like, I'm going to say this and wear a blue shirt. I got 49 emails saying, maybe wear a purple shirt and maybe don't say this here. Don't tell me this slipped through the cracks when you're getting a court case that features child pornography. It's disgusting. It's disturbing. Jeopardy's got to flip their whole production because of one person said something, but they wanted to be woke and do all that. How many other examples are there? 10, 20, 30, 40 years we're going back to cancel people? But this slips through the cracks? It's outrageous. And that people aren't outraged and skipping work with their posters and going to the courthouse or going to Balenciaga, and stars aren't wiping their Instagram and social media with all their Balenciaga gear is disgusting in itself. Don't you tell me, Hollywood, how to live my life, or you want me canceled, or because we're...
Yep, he took his earpiece out right before he started on that one, because they know they're going to get told. Shut up, shut up, shut up. Ollie London TV elaborated on the Balenciaga scandal succinctly. For these pictures to be on the website, it has to be approved by the designer, the CEO, everyone on the top. They were trying to normalise it. Then he highlights Rachel Chandler's involvement. Remember Rachel Chandler? I do.
So last week, Balenciaga featured this campaign on their website as part of their Christmas campaign, which was actually targeting children. They're trying to market these teddy bears to children. The teddy bears were covered in bondage, BDSM gear. They had these padlocks around their neck. Very kind of sick stuff. That was not the only thing, though. If you zoom in closer to the pictures, there's actually so many details there. There's dates written on the wall. When you Google the top news stories of those days, it's referencing child predator court cases. There's also books and court documents being featured. There was a Supreme Court document featured under a handbag, which was referencing a Supreme Court case arguing for child porn to be legalised. So it's really, really shocking stuff. And then Balenciaga issued a statement apologising, which really isn't enough. They were trying to blame the creative studio behind this shoot. But really, you know, for these pictures to be on the Balenciaga website, it's a multi-billion-dollar company. It has to be approved by the designer, the CEO, everyone at the top. So it's really shocking stuff.
And the photographer himself has come out to say, actually, I didn't get to select the products or the models. So Balenciaga know that their bondage teddy bear with black eyes and, as you say, bondage gear is going to be modelled by young, very, very young children. They knew that, regardless of what direction the photographer took. It seems to me there's a very dark, evil undertone going behind this brand. Is this a manifestation of what's going on in the industry as a whole?
Well, firstly, Balenciaga, as a marketing tactic, they do wipe their Instagram quite often. It's one of their marketing and PR stunts. But yeah, there was also a picture of a woman with black eyes and clearly looked like they'd been abused and assaulted. That was the theme. They were trying to glorify that and glamorise it and trying to normalise it, just like the kids holding the bondage teddy bears. So I definitely think Balenciaga has very dark kind of things going on. And in 2016, one of the people that recruited all of the models for Balenciaga's runway show was a woman called Rachel Chandler, who has been on Jeffrey Epstein's island. She's even posted a picture on Instagram of CCTV footage back in 2013, bragging about being on an island. And if you look at her modelling agency, every single one of the models looks like a trafficking victim. You can see they've got very dark under the eyes, so people need to research that. But very few Hollywood celebrities are speaking about this. You know, Nicole Kidman is also a brand ambassador for the brand. Elizabeth Hubert, the French actress, you know, they're all staying silent, which, you know, says a lot.
And you remember, some people will remember who were part of my last channel before it got deleted, that I did a Rachel Chandler and I went through her Midland modelling agency. Should we have an update and have a look? That's not how you spell it. Hang on a sec. Go back, go back, go back. Okay. I thought that said Lolita. Okay. What's this then? Ah, a model. Does that look like a model to you? Height, bust, waist, hips, shoe. Okay, we found a new one. Let's look at Emmett. Who's Emmett? I'm a bit worried here. Height, chest, waist, inseam, and shoe size. I'm concerned for these people. Do they look like models to you? They look very unhappy to me. Let's have a look at Chris. I can't believe this. I thought they'd removed it all. They don't look happy to me. Do they look happy to you? Do they look like models to you? Where's the rest of it? Oh. Okay. They don't look happy to me. Oh, what's this? The photo didn't come up, so... I think that this is a selling point. That's what I think. By Walter Pierce and Rachel Chandler, Midland Management and Casting. It's not going to show us. It's just loading. I don't know if it's going to do anything, guys. Doesn't look like it is. This person's got very dark very dark under eyes and bags under there. She's just looking at the camera as if she hates the camera. This guy's kind of got a bit of defiance on his face. Oh, here they come. No. This girl looks very unhappy. None of them are smiling like it's not... Oh, there's more. Oh. The page has to load. Oh my goodness. Not happy, okay? Look, none of them. Okay, that's that one. Now it's starting to... Oh God, my internet's slow. And there's obviously more pictures down here, but they're not loading at the moment. There's that girl. I think they're selling people. What do you think, guys? You can tell me in the comments below. It's enough to make you sick. In 2021, Kamala Harris's daughter made her Fashion Week debut for none other than Balenciaga. It must be nothing. Rachel Chandler's a name far too people know. She allegedly trafficked children for Epstein by using the model industry to recruit young children for their blackmail operation. Her wedding featured a man dressed in an ominous white rabbit costume. Of course it did. An ugly one too. Bill, it looks a bit evil actually. Does it? I don't know. Either they've got really big teeth or that's a hand at their mouth or something. Bill Clinton travelled to Epstein Island over 20 times that we know of. Jeffrey Epstein visited the Clinton White House on 17 different occasions that we know of. Where's the Me Too movement? Rachel Chandler opened up a modelling agency called Midland Casting and Management, in 2016. From her website you can view disturbing images of children who look abused. Where are these children now? The other pictures are much more disturbing. Okay, there's more. Do any of them look like models, or do any of them look happy? Jean-Luc Brunel, a modelling scout, gathered children and young women to be trafficked on the island. The modelling industry has been proven as predators' playground time and time again. 60 Minutes did a piece on how Jean-Luc Brunel was pimping women in the modelling agency, which I'm not going to play. Why was Jean-Luc Brunel wearing an Israel Army hat while staying at the island? Is it because Epstein Island was a blackmail honeypot operation run by intelligence agencies? Israel Army. February 2022, like Epstein before him, Jean-Luc Brunel found himself dead by suicide as he was rotting in a prison cell. There were no security cameras on. The media quickly moved on and asked little questions. How does this keep happening? Epstein is one of the most blatant conspiracies you can imagine. His suicide was not captured by cameras because they inadvertently preserved video from the wrong tier. The footage no longer exists. If you want proof of a government conspiracy, Jeffrey Epstein's that proof. He's the quintessential red pill. Why was he so protected? Was he a spy for intelligence agencies? And that's not Epstein. Alex Acosta claimed that Epstein's original sweetheart deal was ordered by higher-ups who told them that Epstein was connected to intelligence. They told him it was beyond his pay grade.
A few years later, Acosta claimed that Jeffrey Epstein's very mild sentencing came as a result of higher-ups who told Acosta that Epstein was connected to intelligence. But there's yet another level to this story. Les Wexner and Jeffrey Epstein operated in this inner world of very, very wealthy men who were staunch backers of Israel and who are rumored to have various connections to the Mossad. In fact, Ghislaine Maxwell's father, Robert Maxwell, was said to have been connected to the Mossad through Israeli intelligence.
I remember post 9/11, when Les came into the store, he had a bulletproof vest on and always had a lot of security with him. We knew that he was very involved in Israel. That was what we were sort of told, why there was so much security for him then. It was kind of a big deal, but it was pretty regular.
Les was always a huge pro-Israel endorser and gave a great deal of money to many charities and through the Wexner Foundation.
Epstein was always in the background, moving money around on behalf of Wexner. And Wexner's money was the engine for organizations which had enormous political influence.
There you go. While Epstein was facing criminal charges for abusing children, he did not have to surrender his passport, highly unusual, and he went straight to Israel. He was then given special treatment unlike anyone else. You're seeing the pattern. Also, you get like a diplomatic welcome.
Under 18. Reliable sources tell us he'll report for a 1.5-year term in prison in Florida in June, then face a year probation. The fact that Epstein was allowed to travel to Israel reflects his vast business interests around the world, according to someone close to the case. But allowing someone soon to be imprisoned on felony charges to leave the country is highly irregular. That according to investigative journalist John Connolly, who has covered the Epstein scandal from day one.
In most instances where people are facing criminal time and because a plea agreement has been made or they're under arrest for serious charges, they are forced to surrender their passport. And apparently Mr. Epstein has not been forced to do that.
The fact that the court ordered Epstein not to have contact with underage girls may indicate that Epstein will be labeled a sex offender. That is something his vast stable of high-powered attorneys have been fighting. Sources tell us that Epstein will likely report to a state prison with modern internet facilities so that he can do business from behind bars. It's been more than 3 years now since Palm Beach police started investigating Jeffrey Epstein. Reporter Connolly says money has bought him time.
I've always been a bit shocked by the way the state prosecutor has handled this case from the get-go. Historically, the police have asked for arrest warrants and been given them. In this case, because of apparently some very high-powered attorneys, they've treated Mr. Epstein much differently.
This is one of the best threads I've read. This is not only possible Mossad connection for Epstein, the rabbit hole goes deep. Les Wexner purchased the now infamous Lolita Express for Epstein. He lived with him as his neighbour and funded his operation like no one else. The founder of Victoria's Secret was in bed with Epstein, and a daughter of the founder of Israel, So Jean-Luc Brunel, Epstein and Les all had deep ties to Israel. Nothing to see here. It's not like this is all one wicked web of intelligence agencies. Epstein recorded absolutely everything that went on, and ask yourself why. It was all videoed all the time. I asked him one time, he said, I keep everything in my safe. The government officials, the politicians, the royalty, they were taping everybody, every moment.
This was not about some drug cartel trafficking children into the United States. This was about a rich man who did not need money, so why was he bringing children from all over the world and introducing them to politicians and rich men? Why was he doing this? I believe that he needed them for something uniquely different. One, pleasure, and two, power. And that power came through blackmail. And that's what these girls were to him. They were a tool of blackmail, period.
The earliest mention of this infrastructure being set up comes from the New York Times in 1996, talking about Epstein's mansion that he got from Wexner, where a lot of his notorious activities were known to have taken place. It describes this spy-style James Bond bathroom connected to CCTV cameras throughout the premises.
Was there videotape?
Oh, yeah, it was all video, all the time, yeah. And I asked him one time, what do you do with this? And he said, I keep it. I keep everything in my safe.
The government officials, the politicians, the royalty, they were taping everybody every moment. When you walked into the New York mansion, to Palm Beach, everything was being filmed.
There's still question to this day, where is all of that material? Has that material been hidden away? There's an individual named John Mark Dugan. He's a former Palm Beach County Sheriff's officer. And he's told a story that's straight out of a spy novel. He claims the lead detective on the case in Palm Beach, Florida, turned over to John Mark Dugan 700 CDs containing video evidence involving men engaging in sexual relations.
Has he been Clinton-sided or something? John Mark Dugan, or whatever his name is? Guardians of the Pedophile Mega Thread 2. Oh my goodness, the red pills keep coming. Now, why would the CIA chief meet with Epstein years after he was convicted sex offender? Is it because Epstein himself was CIA Mossad? Is it because this was a honeypot operation? Hang on one sec, I'm going to read this one next time. It's going very long right now. Is it because this was a honeypot operation run by our own government we supposedly pay to keep us safe? Technofog. What questions are still unanswered? The extent of Epstein's relationship with the US government. Vicky Ward of Rolling Stone was told Epstein's dealings in the arms world around in the 80s had led him to work for multiple governments, including the Israelis. Ward's sources said that Epstein was known in the intelligence world as a hyperfixer, someone who can go between different cultures and networks. Remember we heard about, that's what Prince Andrew's role was? Arms dealer? Okay, that Epstein was known intelligence as a hyperfixer. Okay, Jeffrey Epstein himself was alleged to have said he worked for the government to recover stolen funds. What Epstein did for the US government and perhaps other governments is the question the press ignores and the government doesn't want answered. As we have previously discussed, this information is essential because it would likely inform why Epstein was given a sweetheart deal approved by Main Justice in Washington, D.C. Robert Maxwell Ghislaine's father was buried at the Mount of Olives in Israel after falling off his yacht. It doesn't take many assumptions to come to the conclusion that his daughter followed in his footsteps and began to work for the Mossad. To summarise, Epstein was untouchable and told by prosecutors to back off because he worked for the government. Told by prosecutors? Anyway, they filmed absolutely everything on the island for blackmail purposes. Epstein's pocketbook was lined with money from Les Wexner, a man who married a woman closely connected to Israel. Jean-Luc Brunel, the man who helped supply children, was seen wearing an Israel hat on the island. Ghislaine's father was almost certainly a spy working for the Mossad. He was buried in Israel. Are you seeing it yet? Did you know that Hugh Hefner secretly recorded every single celebrity committing acts of indecency? Remind you of someone? What did he do with these tapes? Could they be used as blackmail? Playboy has an interesting symbol on it, doesn't it? Is it possible the CIA was involved? I've been saying that one for a while too. He was part of it, the honeypot.
He had tapes on everybody. The first time I looked up at the 2 screens he had for the TV in the bedroom, and I realized it was me. I'm like, whoa, what are you doing? And when we started bringing other people into the bedroom, some girls had the same reaction, like, whoa. And he would do the, oh, well, I can turn it off. If it's not okay, I'll turn it off. And they go, oh no, yeah, would you turn it off? And he would, and then he'd say, now we can just see it. That's all it, we're just seeing it. I'm not recording. And maybe a week later or a couple days later, all of a sudden, there's the tape. You told her that you weren't recording this. She goes, you think I really stopped it? So he did it anyway. And he had tapes on everybody.
Hefner taped everything in his bedroom. And many men and stars and athletes came into the bedroom and had sex with these girls. Most of the time, Hefner never participated. He just watched. He was a voyeur. He would stage them. He thought of himself as a film director. He didn't want to be on the tapes. He wanted these girls and the stars. But many of the girls were devastated after what they were expected to do, what they were forced to do. Well, can you imagine, after he had all these tapes of you having sex with different girls, what power he had over these men?
Yep, there you go. It's as if Epstein was flaunting the power him and his puppet masters had over world leaders. Jeffrey Epstein had a trophy Prince Andrew photo in Florida sex lair. That one there. It's not just about the CIA, Mossad, of the government. Symbolism and artwork of these people display often tell you the sinister truth. It is there that you find the true heart of the matter. These people are sick. A parlour in Epstein's lavish home in Manhattan. Is there any more? It does look like there's more. The right-hand man of Hillary Clinton was John Podesta. His brother flaunted disturbing artwork in his home that no normal person would be caught displaying. What is wrong with these people? Apparently this is artwork of one of Jeffrey Dahmer's victims. Is that right? Am I right there? Jeffrey Dahmer, I think. Check out the occult imagery discovered on the island itself. Does this seem normal to you or evil? This goes far beyond just some people wanting to commit child crimes. This is Luke from We Are Change, Luke Radowski.
Powerfully connected to presidents, prime ministers, royalty, and was able to evade law enforcement for some of the worst, most despicable acts in this world. This is a man that literally, when he was finally put to court, was given a slap on the wrist. And it's important to note that the dome flew off during a recent hurricane here. So the situation here has definitely been changing. The most interesting things that I personally found were these like little satanic gargoyles with horns on their heads that were all over the property that were very creepy. I also found a chair that was completely made out of horns and looked like some kind of animal hide. That was very creepy and kind of very weird to look at. But other than that, we weren't really that successful because as we're going through our little mission, we're like, okay, the pool's taken care of. There's someone here. We got to be quieter. Luckily somehow I got service, and our good friend Joby Weeks called me. He was like, dude, there's a lot of people. There's people running all over. We just heard screaming. Are you okay? There's people going around in golf carts. Like, get out, get out, get out. And I'm like, crap. This is not, this is something that has a lot of serious implications. There's a reason the guy who flies the drone around the island is anonymous. There's a reason, Epstein was able to evade any kind of justice for his horrible acts for decades and decades.
Luke took a boat out to the island and snuck onto the island. That's what he did, and that's why he was getting told, get off, get off, get out of there. Tim J. Dillon breaks down how powerful blackmail people collude together and how the Ghislaine Maxwell family was an intelligence family in bed with big tech and governments. How much further does this go? What is Bill Clinton doing with Rachel Chandler on the Lolita Express? Why doesn't the media want to know? That's the girl who runs that agency, the modelling agency. It doesn't look like a modelling agency. It gets worse, though. From her own Instagram account in 2013, Rachel Chandler posted a picture of what appears to be security camera footage of Epstein Island. Can someone please explain to me what is happening on Channel 10? Who is that one, Channel 11? Okay. Channel 10 looks like naked people sitting on buckets. Channel 11 kind of looks like how Hillary stands, but we don't know it's actually her. But this was of Epstein Island. This was the pictures that she put up on whatever it was, Instagram or whatever. I like some of the comments. Holy I see this post earlier along with Murph Ball and Boom. It's on Q Post. This is some weird shit. We can hear you breathing, Rach. And Officer Red Pill Boom. Stein Daddy Boom. And ET_Q45 said, she's the gatekeeper. How do you launder the money you receive to set up private pedo operations without exchanging actual goods? Think consulting. And there's something weird going on down here. Can't see that one very clearly. If you want to take a screenshot, or I'll probably repost this one. Bill Clinton was asked about his connections to Jeffrey Epstein and responded by saying, I think the evidence is clear. This is the first unintentional true statement I've heard him say about Epstein. What's going on out there?
Any comments on the alleged allegation of your connection with Jeffrey Epstein? No.
Even fake news Snopes admitted that spy Ghislaine Maxwell attended Chelsea Clinton's wedding. Epstein had a card key access in Harvard. After he had been arrested as a child sex offender, let that sink in. He had integrated himself within the scientific and education system. How can you not suspect that the entire system is compromised when you learn facts like this? Renowned scientist Stephen Hawking enjoyed himself, which we learned. Are you alarmed yet? Why was Epstein attempting to seed the human race with his DNA? The heroes and icons of the system are perhaps that way because the media is propping them up and teaching the masses to trust these people. But when the facade fades away, you're presented with the truth. Bill Gates and Epstein, Fauci, Soros, Gates. COVID vaccine champion Bill Gates met with Epstein multiple times. Did you continue to meet with... Why did you continue to meet with Epstein when you met him? He was already a convicted sex offender. And Bill Gates trying to worm his way out of that one. Oh, well, he's dead, so there's that. This is not about left versus right. This is about good versus evil. Cindy McCain admitted openly that we all knew what he was doing, yet they did absolutely nothing to stop him. This is akin to complicity. Where's the outrage from the media? We know that the CIA has assets hidden within the media and that the mainstream media purposely hid the story that could have saved children. The media did not want to out their own blackmail operation. Those who knew and said nothing are complicit. And that's Amy, the ABC News anchor who had the information like years ago when she said it on Hot Mic or something, or was caught on the mic saying it. Liz Crokin asked Jake Tapper why he wasn't reporting properly on crimes against children, and his discomfort is immediately made known. This is largely indicative of the establishment media. They refuse to help save the children. Sounds like there's someone walking on the bloody roof. Wow. In 2019, a former Walt Disney VP was sentenced to 6 years in prison for sexually abusing a 7-year-old girl. There's been a lot of Disney employees getting busted for that too. People in high places abusing children is not a rare occurrence. In fact, in Hollywood, it appears to be the norm. So the former Walt Disney Vice President, Michael Laney, has been sentenced to 6 years following an investigation related to child abuse. Former child Disney star, it's about influence. There's a reason why you see people dressed as Satan, pentagrams. People think that this stuff is just a game. There is a reason why the entertainment industry is doing that. They know God exists. They also know Satan exists. Take a wild guess at who owned an island in relative close proximity to Little St. James. Joe Biden's brother. I'm sure it's nothing. Ghislaine Maxwell could pilot submarines. This means that just because they weren't on flight logs that they hid from the public, it does not mean they didn't go to the island. What could she possibly have done with the ability to traffic children like this? An open border is much more about human trafficking than most will understand. If you cannot track the children crossing, then they are cheap commodities used for money and wicked deeds. Why are politicians so opposed to the wall? Are they receiving behind-the-scenes blood money? Joe Biden is the human trafficking president. The irony of convicted child trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell hosting a Save the Children fund with Disney. Why is it that those you are taught to trust by the mainstream media end up being the most dangerous wolves in sheep's clothing? Perhaps it's a sinister agenda all along. Epstein was using cryptic names such as Snow White and Beauty and the Beast. I'm sure it's just a coincidence that he's using Disney movies as comms. Notice how tight he was with the bankers. The entire system is corrupt to its core. Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. Oprah, a woman the media wants you to admire and look up to, openly promoted Harvey Weinstein and never seemed to be bothered by him, even though it's now known that many in Hollywood knew what he was doing. There's Oprah kissing him. Oprah promoted John of God on her show, and it was later revealed that he was a human trafficker selling babies from his sex slave farm. Shortly before hip-hop artist Coolio died, he mentioned that some top names of the industry were talking about child trafficking and he was planning on exposing it to the public. Coolio mentioned in a podcast before he died, "Killing me won't mean shit, just confirms what I said was true. I do have a fear of them hurting my family. I don't talk about everything I know because I don't want nobody in my family to get hurt." The Ellen DeGeneres set looked eerily similar to Jeffrey Epstein's Pedo Island. Same colours, same pattern, same palm trees. Am I supposed to believe this is just a coincidence? See? Ellen, Jeffrey. Ellen, Jeffrey. Ellen and war criminal Bush having grand old times. She presents herself as a wholesome person, yet colludes with a man who allowed Epstein's island to remain operational and hidden while her set looked exactly like the island itself. And I believe there's more. Wow. We need to start questioning every single person that Obama handed an award out to and dig really deep. Didn't Obama know about Epstein Island, yet he did absolutely nothing to stop it? Complicity at its finest. And don't forget about him having George Clooney and the little girl on the boat. Was that on the way to Epstein Island by any chance? The pedophile theme is far more common in Hollywood than people would ever imagine. Here are just a few of the multitude of instances. This is going to go for ages, guys. At some point you have to wonder if this is the norm rather than the exception. Former child star Elijah Wood claimed that pedophilia was a major problem in Hollywood. Listen to what he said about being an adult in the industry. I was led down dark paths to realise that these things probably are still happening.
Tells the publication, quote, "There are a lot of vipers in this industry, people who only have their own interests in mind. What bums me about these situations is that the victims can't speak as loudly as the people in power. That's the tragedy of attempting to reveal what is happening to innocent people. They can be squashed, but their lives have been irreparably damaged." The 35-year-old adds, "If you're innocent, you have very little knowledge of the world and you want to succeed. People with parasitic interests will see you as their prey."
I can get a good career doing this. You know, it's going to be good.
Wood says he was not a victim of abuse because his mother Deborah protected him and he avoided those kinds of situations. He goes on to allege that even as an adult in the industry, he has been, quote, "led down dark paths to realize that these things probably are still happening."
Not probably, definitely. Comedians bizarrely roasted the late Bob Saget as a pedophile. I don't know about you, but I found none of these jokes to be funny in any way.
Why should we pick Bob Saget, who raped and killed a girl in 1990? Well, first of all, it's not true. It's not true that Bob Saget raped...
Okay, I'm just not going to play that. I think we get the point. And they take they shove it in your face and then treat it like a joke. Sarah Silverman, Trump-hating Jimmy Kimmel's ex-girlfriend, once did a segment on her comedy show where she joked about being a pedo with Patton Oswalt, who tweeted heinous things about children.
If you're having a good time, be sure to tell all your friends.
Hey, good band lady, can we pull over? I need to make pee-pee.
I'll just go in my mouth.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Can I ask you a really crazy question?
Yeah, shoot.
Do you ever have weird thoughts about, children?
Jesus! Hey, I don't know who you think you're talking to. I would never look at a child that way.
Of course, I'm so sorry. I don't know what's wrong with me. I've been having these really strange...
Wait. Oh, my God. Sign me up for that. Butterface. Ugh. All right, I gotta go.
Patton is a known child predator. A theme arises. Trump-hating experimental vaccine lovers are partial to making jokes about heinous child crimes. Patton Oswalt attacks Trump supporters who don't want coronavirus jab, backward racist, sexist, homophobic dipshits. Why does Jimmy Kimmel mock anyone who wants to know who went to Epstein Island?
Needless to say, all this UFO talk has the tinfoil hatters going wild, including Green Bay whackpacker Aaron Rodgers, who offered this hot take on the Pat McAfee show.
I believe that this has been going on for a long time. Interesting timing on everything. There's a lot of other things going on in the world. Did you hear about the Epstein client list about to be released too?
What's that? What are you talking about?
There's some files that have some names on it that might be getting released pretty soon.
Oh.
Might be time to revisit that concussion protocol, Aaron. Needless.
Why was Bill Mayer's production company literally called Kid Love Productions? Someone give me a logical explanation as to why he would give it this name, and I'll listen. Bill Mayer Productions as Kid Love Productions. That's how it started out. Logo, the word Kid Love Inc. Inside a blue rectangle in a blue-green curtain background. It's strange that Bill Mayer seems so concerned that Trump might throw him in Guantanamo Bay. What an odd comment to make for a comedian.
Did you think, oh my God, this isn't the country I thought it was?
I was afraid for my own well-being. I thought I could wind up in Guantanamo Bay. I think I still could. I mean, he was ranting about me all last week again. He's obsessed sometimes. I don't know. He went on a tear for about 8 months when he was president. Every time he'd have a rally, I have a list 3 pages long of the things he's called me.
Bill Maher, right? Everybody know Bill Maher, for example? He's a radical left maniac with modest television ratings, right? Modest.
Depressed nut job, low rating sleazebag, and he was doing it again last week. He doesn't like that I'm on CNN.
Yeah.
I don't know why that gets to him. He doesn't like it.
Oh, he's doing it now since
He's
you
doing
started
it
doing
now.
the thing on Friday nights.
Yes. He doesn't like that.
On Truth Social, he does it.
Or in a rally.
Yeah.
He doesn't like that Fox quotes me. When Fox quotes me, and of course, Fox will watch one of my shows. 90% of it might be something material that they hate, but they take out of it.
No, they do the even liberal Bill Maher.
Right. Exactly.
That's what they do to you every time.
You have to preface it by saying, look, we hate this guy. He's awful. But, he said one good thing. And Trump, that drives. So I don't know. So I'm afraid of Trump on a very personal level because I don't think he likes me. I understand why. And I don't know what he would do in a second term. I mean, he is obviously someone who does not know any boundaries. And, you have to worry when you see what other authoritarian rulers do in other countries to people. I'm not thinking he's going to become Putin and start pushing people out windows, but I'm not going to live on the 30th floor anywhere either.
Yeah. Why do you?
So there you go with that one. Pop idol Madonna has now been accused of child trafficking in Malawi, Africa. What is it with these celebs in foreign countries? Is it easier to gain access to children? She deleted all her posts.
She deleted all her posts.
Madonna has been accused of running child trafficking in Malawi and sexual exploitation of African children. Ethiopian World Federation has asked Malawi's president to investigate her charity in the country, Raising Malawi, and to look into homosexual and transgender allegations over the adoption of the Malawian children for possible human trafficking and social experiments. Raising Malawi is a charity nonprofit organization founded by Madonna in 2006 to help with extreme poverty among local orphans through health and education programming. However, Ethiopian World Federation claims that the pop star set up her charity organization to host social experiments on vulnerable African children. For example, Madonna's son, David Banda, who was adopted in Malawi, is used for those purposes as he wears women's clothing and makeup.
Okay. Trump claims Hillary Clinton took a number of villages in Haiti before the 2016 election as the crowd boos. Everyone knows, of course, Hillary's belief that it takes a village, which only makes sense after all in places like Haiti where she's taken a number of them.
Everyone knows, of course, Hillary's belief that it takes a village, which only makes sense, after all, in places like Haiti, where she's taken a number of them. Thank you. Everyone knows, of course, Hillary's belief that it takes a village, which...
Okay, she's laughing because she thinks she's never going to get caught for it. Ricky Gervais, he obviously didn't kill himself just like Jeffrey Epstein. Shut up. Now, I know he's your friend, but I don't care. You're in no position to lecture the public about anything. Most of you spent less time in school than Greta Thunberg.
Spoiler alert, season 2 is on the way, so in the end, he obviously didn't kill himself. Just like Jeffrey Epstein. Shut up. I know he's your friend, but I don't care. You had to make your own way here in your own plane, didn't you? Right. A superb drama about the importance of dignity and doing the right thing, made by a company that runs sweatshops in China. So, well, you say you're woke, but the companies you work for, I mean, unbelievable. Apple, Amazon, Disney. If ISIS started a streaming service, you'd call your agent, wouldn't you? So, if you do win an award tonight, don't use it as a platform to make a political speech, right? You're in no position to lecture the public about anything. You know nothing about the real world. Most of you spent less time in school than Greta Thunberg. So, if you win, right, come up, accept your little award, thank your agent and your God, and... So... It's already 3 hours long.
See Tom Hanks' face then? The same CIA that turned its sights toward ousting Donald Trump also were the ones running Epstein Island. At what point do you ask yourself, why does Hollywood, the intelligence agencies and the establishment hate this man so much? Remember when John McCain's wife said they all knew about Epstein Island and did nothing? Well, guess who helped Hillary Clinton frame Donald Trump for treason? John McCain. It's almost like the globalists are all in it together and wanted to stop Trump at any cost. And by the way, if Trump had ever gone to that island, it would have been splashed all over mainstream media. John McCain described how he received the Steele dossier that contains the most salacious allegations about Trump. Adam Schiff knowingly promoted the Steele dossier for years while knowing it was literally funded by Hillary Clinton. You know, the same Clinton whose husband visiting Pedo Island like it was a routine. What skeletons does Adam have in his closet? Ask Adam about the Standard Hotel. 2 years ago, Clinton, Bush, Obama all got together in unity to call for the peaceful transition of power and to come back to normalcy, Republican and Democrat. These are all men who allowed pedo islands and never-ending war crimes to continue. What is the previous status quo? Ignorance of the masses, crimes against children, our own government committing unspeakable crimes. These criminals have made it very clear who their number one enemy is. It's Donald Trump. Frequent Lolita Express flyer, Bill Clinton witnessed his wife create the Steele dossier, which the media, the pedophile protectors, used in an attempt to frame Donald Trump for treason and remove him from office at any cost. Why do all the pedos loathe Donald Trump the way they do? Perhaps like JFK before him, your corrupt government finds him to be too dangerous to their agenda. Perhaps Epstein Island would still be operating hidden out of plain sight if Hillary Clinton had won in 2016. I guarantee that would have been the case. Okay, guys, that was a very, very long 2 hours and 27 minutes of news. Okay. I'll see what I can do before this chat jumps completely. Who have we got? Jumped. Okay. Hey, Missy T. Hey, George. Hey, Kat. Hey, James. Hey, Robin. MJ. Out to lunch. Who else have we got? Watching trains go by. How you going? Who else? Old School Pete. How you going? Haven't seen you for a while. Selena. How you going? Who else have we got in here? How far can I go back? Stu, how you going? Who else? Okay, I'm going to go back in the chat as far as I can. If I see any other names pop up, I'll shout you out. That was a really... I didn't expect that. Like, I hadn't looked at some of these posts before I bookmarked them. I just thought, that looks interesting, I'll bookmark it. And oh my goodness. That was long. And yeah, I did tell you I stuffed up this week with smoking. My mum and my cat mainly. Stress reasons, but even though you should not use that as a reason, I did. Okay. How far back can I go? It's letting me go, I think, pretty far. Look, Shannon said the chemical diagram for adrenochrome is shaped like a rabbit. Missy T said Pinocchio was about a sex offender. Missy T said Santa Claus was. Research them. Old School Pete said black eyes and bondage gear seems like a problem. Shannon said panda eyes. Yeah, the panda eyes is a... when they get abused, it makes their eyes, both eyes, go black. George said, Ollie London is someone who has detransitioned. Yes, he is, yes. Stu said his face looks like he's been bashed last night at a pub. Deb said, why can't I see menacing? Missy T said it's catalogue references. Darren said he looks like a waxwork. Watching trains go by said at this point, if they're part of entertainment, music or pro sports, I'm done with trusting a single one of them. Stu said, hope things are well. Out to lunch said, your eyes are closed or I did something. Darren said, they're not models. How you going, Darren? No, they're not. Victims, exactly. Old School Pete said, why would such a company do such a thing? Could it be they knew or thought they knew their core customer base weren't expecting the backlash from such a sick performance? Missy T said, trafficked. Menacing Muskrat said, Stu, doing well, gardening season has started, yippee. We are about to get snow. Today is, well, I woke up this morning, it was 2 degrees or 32 degrees Fahrenheit, so 2 degrees Celsius. Tomorrow's the same but with rain, and we're expecting, they said, snow from the early morning hours of tomorrow morning. I'll see how we go. If it happens, I'll come on live and do a video. MJ said underweight and androgynous, sad. Yeah, definitely, MJ. And how you going? George said they're brainwashed, watching trains go by. Said they totally look like people that might be about to get modelling contract, wealth and fame. Very sad look upon their faces. Stu said, so sad, this is worse than anything I've known. Old School Pete said the high fashion brigades seem as sick as they come, probably worse than the music industry guys. Oh, definitely. Modelling and, I think Victoria's Secret might have been a bit of a trafficking. They might have paid more for the models. Maybe. I don't know. I don't even want to try and imagine. Yeah, Missy T, modelling agencies, traffic. Yeah, exactly. Deb said, I think it's going to get worse, Stu. Shannon said, Gucci, the CC means Cannibal Club. Stu said, Pete, you're right, and I love music too. Watching trains go by said, yep, Missy, they only want the ones that are willing to sell themselves and they think we'll keep quiet. Desperate, depressed kids are their favourite. And runaways. And ones that don't have parents. George said, yeah, Missy. Menacing Muskrat said, remember what the cue board said, they won't be able to walk down the streets. Exactly. Out to lunch said, modelling more like zombie movie extras. Missy T said, it's like the Wayfair. It is. Menacing Muskrat said, Shannon, Coco Chanel, CC2, she's a piece of work. George said that LBGTP class has a flag for pedo. Yeah. Well, they say the P was pansexual, but pansexual as anything goes. And it was meant to be that at first, pedos, but people weren't accepting that, so they changed it to pan. Look up pan. Sherry said, White Rabbit looks creepy. I agree, Hev, they look very unhappy. Missy T said, from eastern countries and taken against their will mainly. Old School Pete said, yeah, I love my music too, and it's so crappy always finding my favourites lacking. I also found out that Paul Stanley tried to walk back his speaking out against the doing that to children, mutilating children. He's now walking it back. Wonder what he has over his head. Okay, MJ said CC Cannibal Club, not just carbon copy. Pat said Chandler, child handler. Exactly. You got it, Pat. And how you going too? Stu said, who had a pet white rabbit here as a kid? I did. No. Menacing Muskrat said Coco Chanel, Gloria Vanderbilt, Gucci and all the royals, birds of a feather flock together. Shannon said M&M. Oh, it jumped. Where'd it go? Eminem went all Trump hater. Oh, thank you, D. Lee. I appreciate that. Went all Trump hater when he was shown with underage Chandler. Yep, Eminem did, yeah. He's a little... Ugh. MJ said, I wish Stu had bought one home. Ate a cord. Mum returned it. Pooped in a tray like a kitty. Oh, a rabbit. Out to lunch said Wexner Trade Centre owner? World Trade Centre owner, was he? I don't know. Sherry said, never liked the white rabbits because of the red eyes, always had dark-coloured rabbits. George said, Robert Maxwell was corrupt. Menacing Muskrat said, Israel last. Yes. We learnt that from the board. Last. Because it's so big, so bad, so... Ugh. Thank you, Shannon. God love you. Where am I up to? Watching trains go by said, here's my plan. Pretend to be one of them, work my way into the prisons they hold people like Epstein, volunteer to work the camera and tell them it's off, but leave it on. Gotcha, lol. Yeah, one of them should. Old School Pete said, I had a white Russian hamster. It's basically a rat, but it ate her babies and husbands, so got rid. Yeah. Stu said, correct, Sherry. It was weird. And Stu said, Pete and laughing. Shannon said, Werner sold him his famous apartment for $1. Wexner? Was it Wexner or Werner? Shannon. Old School Pete said she had quite the temper. Shannon said Chelsea Clinton has a place next for which has a cloning facility. Wow. Oh, Shannon, I'm not going to say that one. The next one. Pat said these poor people are in bondage. They are ill. They traffic them quite openly. George said a few football clubs had been sold for £1. Stu said some fire sounds like my daughter's mum a bit, Pete. Deb said that's not a model pose. None of them were. Shannon said, did they find Maxwell's body after he fell overboard? I'm not sure, but I think it was Clinton. So it was not Clinton-sided necessarily, but intelligence-sided. Maybe he was going to say something. I don't know. Watching trains go by said, it's modern slavery with a bunch of words to cleanse the truth, Pat. Some people don't want to admit it, though. MJ said, what is the percentage of these freaking weirdos? I really want to know. 1 out of 5 or 3 out of 5? I don't know. Missy T said he had a CIA drop plane. Old School Pete says, Stu, lol, I know that feeling. My ex was insane. Hit me with an hot iron once. Oh. Missy T said, used to push out goods. MJ said, ironic, zebras next to that story camouflage. George said, wow, Pete. MJ said, Pete glad he's ex now. Out to lunch said, Walsh's stomping ground. Shannon said the Playboy mansion was a similar operation. We just found that out in a big way. Menacing Muskrat said, Wexner. Sorry. Slip of the tongue. Wexner Victoria's secret question. What is the secret? I'll give you a hint. They all have Adonis belts. Yeah, it could be. Old School Pete said I wasn't burnt, George. She just liked a whip, but obviously that wasn't the point. My arm hurt, a little bugger. Watching trains go by said Epstein may have been a CIA agent, but that could also be a cover story. Think about it. What better way for the elites to cover for him themselves and frame people they want to get rid of? Menacing Muskrat said, yes, they found Maxwell's naked. They did? Okay. MJ said, didn't that get split by an earthquake? I don't know. Shannon said, clone body. Stu said, I got a power cord, bread knife, steak knife, bricks, anything not tied down. I don't miss it, Pete. Oh, you guys have gone through a bit of hell there, by the sound of it. King Snurgle said, MJ, I left the room for a minute. Yes, 2 factions. They are super elite that live their lives in a manner so that we never even get to know who they are. Ancient bloodlines. Missy T said, Elvis had his own bedroom at the Playboy Mansion. That doesn't surprise me. King Snurgle said, MJ, everyone that every normal person is watching, commenting upon, guessing what they do next don't matter. They're all minions. The super elite, I'm one of them. George said Mountbatten was blown up by the IRA. A few kids was killed on the boat as well. Missy T said, yes, George. Old School Pete said, lol, my ex was a she. James said, hello, everyone. Hello, James. How you going? MJ said, women are just as bad, Pete. Got it. Missy T said, Priscilla was under... Yes, she was. Elvis's wife was underage. Old School Pete said, hello, James. Shannon said, tunnels under the Playboy Mansion. Menacing Muskrat said, Zechariah 14:4, when Yeshua returns, his foot will split the mountain of olives in half. King Snuggle said, MJ, but I volunteered for a role at 19 years old. We watch all of them. The eye, watching the eye, watching the eye, watching the eye, watching that eye. You'll all get to know about it. MJ said, they're freaking art. They ain't people. James said, CIA, Mossad, Honey Trap, UK Security Service has been doing it since the 60s, Elm Guest House. I believe they all have. Most countries. Like, why was Epstein and Paul Keating and his daughter involved? Do you know what I mean? Paul Keating was one of our prime ministers. Menacing Muskrat said, and his feet shall stand in that day upon the Mount of Olives, which is before Jerusalem on the east, and the Mount of Olives shall cleave in the midst thereof towards the east and towards the west. And there shall be a very great valley, and half of the mountain shall remove toward the north, and half of it towards the south. George said, the elites has weird paintings. Watching trains go by said, yep, Missy, it's amazing what most of us will overlook if they are attracted to or like the person. That's another thing on the board that was said. They hope you will follow the stars. King Snurgle said, MJ, in order to be even considered for the role, is invited to be interviewed for demands one special thing above all others. All of us have all the psychic abilities that exist, all of them. George said, yeah, Pete. James said, Ghislaine's father was also a Mossad spy. Missy T said, satanic cannibalism. Old School Pete said, madness. George shows where the artist's mind's at for sure. Shannon said, Hillary. James said, deeply creepy. Out to lunch said, Larry Silverstein was Twin Towers. I wonder if he was at Eppy's Island. Ooh. King Snurgle said, even then with that huge advantage, it's been very, very hard to keep up with everything that's been going on. I'm getting fully up to date right now, and it's mind-boggling. It's all coming out, and like, as I said, each little thread that they pull at, whether it's the JFK, the Epstein, or it's all coming undone, and the banks and everything, all these little threads are being pulled. The whole thing's just going to fall shortly. Shannon said, eating people naked and collecting poop. Deb said, McAllister had this up of the island. James said, I wonder how many Haitian kids ended up on the island. Clinton, yep. Missy T said, that's why they set up charity there. James said, Bill Gates loved the island. Kat said, they are sitting on buckets eating human parts in one photo. Apparently, yeah. Shannon said, Chelsea ain't no Clinton. She looks like Hubbard. Out to lunch at 8:08 Central Time. Missy T said, hilarious, attended Trump's. Kat said, haven't seen this for 3 years. Yeah, that's why I thought, look, the refresher was good anyway, even if it did take a long time to get through. Those refreshers are good because the information's coming out now, so people can see what we seen a couple of years ago now, and they can understand a little bit more when it all comes out. Darren said, oh my God, you could see Clinton having fond memories. George said, Bill Gates has blood on his hands. Deb said, 10:38am Saturday, Adelaide, still moist. MJ said, King, can you talk about LBRY? James said, exactly, Missy. A member of the foundation was caught people smuggling. Not sure what happened. Story disappeared, as they do. Shannon said, it's trying to be moist here. James said, Bill Clinton has a son. Oh, I've heard that. He's got darker skin. It was a black lady. Is that right? I don't know. I've just heard. I think I've seen a photo of him. Watching trains go by said Stephen Hawking was nothing more than an avatar or social experiment. Nobody ever knew his name before he became unable to even communicate exactly. George said, Bill Gates is an evil man, and Shannon said, knowingly. James said, Operation Mockingbird is complete. Deb said, hash brown, egg, bacon. Oh my goodness, not now. Look, I was hungry after seeing that meat, direct from the farmers. James said, Jake tapeworm. MJ said, Benny the turkey is lurking, thinking he's a rooster on the roof. It could be. He flies up into the trees. It surprised me. I thought his body would be too big for him to fly up and carry, but he does. King Snurgle said, MJ, when I passed my initial interview, signed up to the cause purely on faith alone. I got to see the library. It contained the physical proof of everything I've been told was true. James said, check out the big charities, yikes. King Snurgle said it was amazing 5 weeks. Shannon said even when Epstein was in prison, he was allowed to go to work, yes. Watching, and allowed ladies in there, saying they were his lawyers or this or that or whatever. Watching trains go by, said, oh, Deb had homemade buttermilk pancakes and bacon, real maple syrup yesterday. What a treat. Oh, my God, you guys are going to make me hungry. Kat said, what if everyone is guilty? Most politicians. Gitmo. Or death penalty. MJ said, so it helped with truth of these factions. George said, Bill Gates and his vaccines cause a lot of damage. Yeah, they did. Stu said, yes, MJ, the gobbler on the roof was my first thought. Can't trust them turkeys. It could have been. It sounded like a person up there. Deb said, yes, very yummy, trains go by. Faith said, hey, Faith, how you going? Just popped in to say hello. My elderly aunt went to doctor for back pain and they overdosed her on pain medications. Looks as though she isn't going to pull through. Oh, Faith. Oh. Prayers for your elderly aunt. My mum just went to hospital for the last week. She's been in there. And I'm glad to say they kind of helped her a bit and sent her home. I haven't spoken to her since she got home. She got home late last night. And I haven't spoken to her because I rang this morning. She was still in bed. So after this live stream, I've got to ring my mum. So, yeah, prayers, Faith, for your aunt. Kat said John Bidet Ramsey with Ghislaine. Dealey said the island was actually owned by Joe. He sold it to his brother so he could run for president. There you go. MJ said Stu, he loves her chickens, identifies as one chicken. A turkey. Deb said, and Fat Cat was a pedo. Oh, really? Watching trains go by said, sorry, Faith, prayers for her. Shannon said, and John of God, yep. George said, hi, Faith. And Kat said, yes, Coolio. Shannon said, Oprah is a man. Deb said, and Humphrey. Ooh, Humphrey B. Bear. And that cat thing that they used to have. Old School Pete says, sadly, I imagine Disneyland is like a beacon that attracts the wrong ones, like moths to a flame. Yep. Access to kids, they know that. Old School Pete said, beacon even. MJ said, trains, real maple syrup. Ooh. Yeah, I've got real maple syrup in my cupboard. You're making me hungry. George said, anyone speaking out ends up dying. James said, Mena, Arkansas, Barry Seal, CIA, 82 tons of cola. The governor was on a cut, money for run for White House, totally corrupt. Yes, of Coke, yeah. Kat said 'twas a pedo award. James said Obama and his $7,000 hot dogs. Yeah, $68,000 worth of hot dogs. Why? Why would you need $68,000 worth of hot dogs? And Missy gave Faith a heart, and Dealey said, great reporting. Watching trains go by said, Oprah once told a story about her buddy Roger Ebert. When she got her big offer for her show, she asked him if it was worth it. I wonder if she meant selling her soul to be part of the elite. Deb said, the chat just gets longer. Menacing Muskrat said, Missy T, the art of war. Sun Tzu, keep friends close, but your enemies closer. Exactly. Shannon said, Nobel Peace Prize is the same. Out to lunch said, same dress colour scheme pattern as the movie we watched on Rumble. Oh, really? Yeah, the blue and white stripes. That Corman's Calamity. The one I thought was probably the least violent Tales from the Crypt. I'm going to do some Twilight Zones. Just because I can only watch so much of Tales from the Crypt before it. I just can't watch too much of it. James said Clinton's killed more people than COVID. Yeah. MJ said he used the words viper and parasite. And Kat said doubtful. James said Shannon at the White House. Yep, exactly. Kat said that didn't happen to him. George said Club Viper. Old School P said, if he thinks it's still happening, why isn't this public figure reporting these people? Stu said, sometimes I say zip, but I usually watch this show to get my news and love reading all you guys' comments. Thank you, everyone. Thank you guys, too, for joining me. D. Lee said, see, the laughter makes people think it's just a joke. Missy T said, thank you, menacing. Deb said, SNL had Rock as a scientist making a pedo robot. Oh. Old School Pete said, they all say, woo, Johnny Rotten out of Jimmy Savile. He done no such thing. James said, that's meant to be funny. Sarah is vile. Thank you, Luna. God love ya. James said, that's meant to be funny. Sarah is vile. MJ said, oh my God, I want to... James said, Kevin Spacey. Kat said her tweets were like Rain Dwight on The Office. Out to Lunch said, that's the guy from King of Queens. Oh, really? Watching Trains Go By said, Spacey is definitely something weird beyond pedo. Yes. James said, director of The Usual Suspects. There you go. Thank you for the names. Yep. George says, Spacey and Maxwell sitting on the Queen's throne. James said, Tom Hanks. Kat said, laugh track probably. Yeah, they do that. To try and indicate when you should laugh at a show, they'll put a laugh track on, which is a recording of people laughing. Not actually a live audience. Because they don't do them anymore. Kat said, Red Shoes Bill. Stu said, this stream will go all weekend. Soon the news drips will have turned to drops and trickles. Oh, it's going to turn into a flood shortly. Menacing Muskrat said, Kevin Spacey and Ghislaine Maxwell sitting on thrones in Buckingham Palace, and I wonder what they just celebrated. Deb said, look, he's sneaky out. Deb said, I'm not the only one. James said, Bill dishes it out, can't take it back, coward bully. Out to Lunch said, is this a rerun? Haven't we talked about this already? MJ said, it's CNN reporting so. Kat said, CNN sounds controlled. Deb said, cat's out, cat's in. What was that? I swear it wasn't me, okay? I didn't let wind go. There was something in this, like to do with this rubbing against the table. Believe me if you want or not, I don't care. But I didn't. Kat said, why mention Truth Social? Selena said, except Mayor is now leaning more right. He's probably panicking. Sorry, it's pronounced Maher, isn't it? Bill Maher, not Bill Mayer. Shannon said, The Rock has more like the bull tattoo and eats children. Old School Pete, so not everyone who mixes with these people can be involved in this stuff, so the only conclusion is these people are truly protected and those protecting them are extremely dangerous indeed. Missy T said it's official investigation. Deb said they like the dark-skinned children. They do. Apparently the Dreno, something to do with that. And more melanin, but they really go after the darker children. Watching Trains Go By said, lol, never trust a former leftist. It's cover and they rely on our forgiveness to protect them, but they never really change. They just wait us out to start all over again. I agree. George said, yeah, Pete. Shannon said, that's how pussies work. Oh, God. Shannon! For goodness sake. Oh, my goodness. Out to Lunch said, walnut sauce. Missy T said, Jolie is another one. Shannon said, the good pastor. Watching Trains Go By said, Shannon, but I've heard they usually like it repeated more than twice. Some of us do the best we can. Deb said she's helping celebrities get kids. Kat said the real Madonna is gone. James said, good night, everyone. Good night, James. Robin said, hi, everyone. How you going, Robin? Out to Lunch said, buy 10, she gets one free, maybe. Missy T said, bye, James. George said, I used to like Madonna when I was a kid. Everyone's saying, bye, James. And hi, Robin. And George said, evil woman. And Missy T said she went to his wedding. MJ said, cowbell shake IR. Missy T said, in plain sight. George said, Ricky Gervais is a legend. Missy T said, laughing at us, yes, that's what I think it is. As if he'd get away with it. Watching Trains Go By said, Ricky Gervais is a fraud and only said it because he's so deep in he can joke about it and they all know he's one of them and nothing will happen. It's possible. Highly possible. Probably highly probable. Oh, the chat just jumped. Okay, Old School Pete said, people say Stephen Hawking was oh so clever, but how come he never invented a cyber suit or even just a wheelchair that could win the X Games? Watching trains go by, said lol Pete. George said Professor X. Shannon said you could power improbability drive with a really hot cup of tea. Deb said we need to get Hev to sing next. Oh, I found an interesting song. Do you remember? I just whispered your name. Well, you wouldn't believe the lyrics in that one. Somebody was spreading... I'm not going to sing it. I'm going to stuff up because I've still got a tickle in my throat, so I'm just going to read it to you. Somebody was spreading rumours about better days are coming. Why was I humming? As if I knew one and the same, but I just whispered your name. Somebody was saying about there being an end to tyranny. But when they asked me what would I do if that day came, I only whispered your name. Everyone's got their own opinion and protects their own dominion. No doubt for them it's true, but I tell them what I really believe. My only worry is protecting you. No one should ever be lonely. We'd all find somebody to care. Ask me if I dare to answer who could carry that flame. I'd just whisper your name. I thought that second chorus was a bit interesting. About there being an end to tyranny. George said X-Men. MJ said, okay, Deb, we are family. Deb said things we do to our Hev. Kat said hot dogs at 3 a.m. in the White House. Yes, that's right. Darren said a hot dog eating contest. But $65,000 worth? I don't know. Old School Pete said Professor X would definitely do well at the X Games. He's a freestyle specialist. Stu said, no, don't Hector the cat and Fritz. I knew Fritz and his kangaroo kicked Hector the cat on kids' TV. Stu said, in his dim sims. And Luna, God love ya. And Shannon said, don't worry, be happy. Here's a little song I wrote. You might want to sing it note for note. Don't worry. Be happy. Don't worry, be happy now. Kat said, yeah, you don't want nightmares. Missy T said, hi, Luna. Everyone's saying, hello, Luna. How you going, Luna? Menacing Muskrat said, my favourite song, Shannon. Yeah, I used to have that as my ringtone. Don't worry, be happy. And people used to laugh when it... They'd go, oh, remember that? George said, good tune, Shannon. Shannon said, here's a little song I wrote. And Old School Pete said, pedo robots now, what the... Yeah, Kat said pedo tweets. Shannon said, you might want to sing it note for note. Don't worry. Oh, thank you, out to lunch. Be happy. Carl said, let's go, Brandon. Old School Pete said, play big PlayStation touching up gamepad and stuff. And Deb's put a couple of Hillarys screaming in there. Missy T said, hi, Carl. Hey, Carl, how you going? George said, a lot of modern music is crap. Old School Pete said, gamepad, I'm getting old. Deb said, I love the watch party. Oh, cool. Oh, thank you, Shannon. God love yous. MJ said, don't worry about a thing because every little thing's going to be all right. Oh, it jumped again. Oh, goodness. Oh, Shannon's asking me to sing Don't Worry, Be Happy. I thought I did just sing some of it. Okay, where am I up to? Oh, it jumped again. So, okay, I'm going back as far as I can. MJ said she's going to sing. Shannon said Deb likes to watch. Kat said my guess is actor is wearing a Bill Maher silicone mask. I've got to remember that's his name, not Bill Maher. That would be Mayer. Watching trains go by said, MJ, whatever you do, don't say don't worry, be happy. Iconically, all three guys in that video committed suicide. Well, Robin Williams may have just been suicided, but still. Really? Missy T said adrenaline. Shannon said, I doubt she'll get down this far. We'll have to take a different method. Deb said, so many are wearing masks. Kat said, lizard. Stu said, no woman, no cry. I love Bob Marley. I didn't listen much to Bob Marley. A couple of songs, but, and I know, like, I think I know how No Woman, No Cry goes. I'm not confident enough to sing it. MJ said, thank you, trains. Menacing Muskrat said, gotta bounce, take care. Oh, have a good one, Menacing Muskrat. George said, Bob Marley's a legend. Everyone's saying good night. Deb said, sure, Hev. Yeah, sure. I swear. Out to lunch said, why is now nose 12 inches long? Darren said, police in Scotland now will have to be clean-shaven to do their job so the masks will not leak. Old School Pete said, menacing muskrat, catch you later. Out to lunch said, then it would be a foot. Shannon said, see if that gets us singing. George said, I love reggae music. Everyone's saying, bye, menacing. Dana said, is Shannon the naughtiest kid in the class? Yes, he is. And Deb said, walnut sauce. Kat said, I talked to Tom Hanks while working at Starbucks in Pacific Palisades, Starbucks, where I worked 30 years ago. Mr. Nice Guy was making intense contact with me. Small world. Oh, yeah, you're lucky, Kat. Lucky you got away from him. Watching trains go by, said Darren, doesn't sound like they're going to let go of the agenda very soon. Deb said, yes, Shannon and King are. Yeah. And is it I Am Kai does sometimes? I don't know. I might be sorry if I'm falsely accusing you, I Am Kai, but I don't know. I know King and definitely Shannon do. Where was I up to? Shannon says, shit, she was distracted. Stu said, music was and is for the creator's enjoyment, and they stuffed that too. If the creator is within us, then it's for us too. Sneaky Rats, plenty of good songs, still great singers, I hope. I was listening to I'm on the outside and I'm looking in. I can see through you, see your true colors, 'cause inside you're ugly, ugly like me. I can see through you, see the real you. All the times that I've cried. Oh my goodness. I love that song. Stained, Outside it's called. And then, what was the other one? Is it, oh, how much have I watched since then? It's been a while since I seen the way the candles light your face. And it's been a while, but I can still remember just the way you taste. Oops. And everything I can remember, as stuffed up as it always seemed to be, and consequences that I render. I've stretched myself beyond my means, yeah. Okay, you didn't waste money, Shannon. I sung a little bit here and there. Okay, Hev, title and artist, who was that? Of which one? MJ, which one? Don't Worry, Be Happy was sung by, is his name Terrence something? Oh, Bob Marley sung one of them. But there was, I only knew it as the other one. Hang on, which one was it? Bobby McFerrin. Oh, where did I get Terrence from? Okay, and yeah, the other two that I sung were from Stain. Oh, and the Harriet Connick Jr. one was I Just Whispered Your Name. Missy T said it's an order. Kat said now I loathe the sight of him. Darren said watching trains go by, and they released that news on the day the WHO said the pandemic is over for the third, fourth time. Deb said 11:27 a.m. AU and moist. It's 12:03 a.m. now. PM, sorry, AM. It'd be dark. And what time is this cold change coming? Because I'm looking forward to snow for the first time this year. Snow up in the mountains about between 6 and 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. I might be back tomorrow morning. We'll see how we go. And Shannon said, go back and read the last chat and follow. Shannon said, admit wasted money. Deb said, how funny. We got her to sing. Watching trains go by, said, I'm sorry if I ruined that song for anyone. I'll be quiet now. I'm sorry if I ruin songs for anyone by me singing them. Because sometimes my voice just, you know. Anyway. And Deb's throwing little celebrations at Shannon. Shannon said, for fuck's sake, went off too soon again on the story of my life. Stu said, pay for play, let's do a super chat request. Shannon said, yeah, do many super chat requests. I might sing a whole song. My mouth's getting sore. I've had pains in my gums. Shannon said, now what's next good? Kat said, not worried, I'm happy. MJ said, trains like that info, no worries. Robin said, did you hear what Senator Malcolm Roberts said about yeah, 19 being BS? I said that in the beginning. My God. I think I lost viewers by singing. Kat said, they killed Bob Marley. Oh, yeah. MJ said, Kat, right toe cancer, right? Watching trains go by said, they ruin, kill or turn anyone moral or good that gets too close to them. Kat said, yes, from a shoe. Shannon said, defamation of character, I resemble that remark. Kat said, I like him a lot. Kat said, nice, Hev. MJ said, sang it. And D-Lee's. And Shannon said, Kat dodged a bullet. And, jumped again. Oh, found it. Kat said, Michael Keating was hit on me more. Really? MJ said, he did a Journey cover. I shit you not, the last Journey song. I shit you not, the title Journey song. Kat said, I love that song, H. Stu said, great job. Zal said, don't worry. Sorry, don't have an opening in my band, Hev. No, that's okay. George said, not bad singing voice, Hev. Yeah, not as good, no. There's a lot of good people who sing a lot better than me. Shannon said, wanted Catwoman Batcave. MJ said, phone you read lyrics song. Old School Pete said, Uncle Terence, no. Tez said, oh yeah, everything will be all right, everything's gonna be all right. It's really all right. MJ said, look up Separate Ways, new one guy you just sang. Really? Separate Ways. Oh, I heard another beautiful song too. What is it? Separate Ways. Is it Journey, Separate Ways, Worlds Apart? I don't know. Or is the band called Separate Ways? It's not showing me much. A lot of people singing Separate Ways. I don't know what that song is, but... Okay. Erica Nelson. Hey, from Oregon. How you going, Erica? Kat said, Jerry Seinfeld thought my baby was cute sitting next to me in the blood drawing room at Cedar Sinai. Oh, yeah, I'd be worried about that. He probably wanted to eat the baby. Deb said, Hev can film the snow. Yes. MJ said, it is good. Zal said, g'day, Erica. Missy T said, hi, Tez. Kat said, that's the joke I made up recently. And Kat said, not funny. Shannon said, no baby for you. Watching trains go by said, MJ, is that the Daughtry version with some lady? I don't know her name, just heard it earlier today. George says, so what is everyone doing? The coronation? Erica said, hi, Missy T. Trains go by said, I like the bit I heard. Pardon me, I heard of it. I'm hungry, so I'm starting to burp because I'm hungry. Figure that one out. Darren said, Shannon, you baby Nazi. And MJ said, oh gosh, Kat, I think of Convo with pancakes he had in diner about baby's flashlight pancake. Oh. Robin said, I'll watch replay, I was late. MJ said, trains, yes, it's awesome. Sorry, couldn't think of his name. Kat said, good one, Shannon. Eyes said, hey, it's been 4 weeks. I love you. Just remember my Eyes account was created in the 2010s. There's a troll account going around as me that was created in 2023. Oh, okay. Love you. Amen. You too, Eyes. King Snurgle said, MJ got something for you before the show ends. Stu said, I'm good at Cat Stevens and stuff, but I play drums. Not a good singer, but I try. Tez said, that was ace. You have a good voice. Oh, thank you. Shannon said, I can't see half the comments. Kat said, saw it, MJ. Hence my joke, he flirted with me too. King Snurgles said, anyone who can get their head around that this one should have zero doubt about current ET involvement and everything about to happen. Deb said, hope Hev doesn't get copyright. No, my singing's nowhere near as good as the original. No. Out to Lunch said, Donna can sing nice, but can sing as bad as you can stand. Yeah, I can sing good and really bad too. Some days just like, don't even try. Especially if I've got a cold or something, it's worse. King Snurgle said the reason why Elon Musk suddenly started bad-mouthing AI. Darren said, well, I won't be watching the ceremony, George, as I don't like watching the BBC, Sky or ITV and they won't share the footage. Deb said Taco Tuesday on Saturday. Oh, tacos. King Snurgle said, guess where the AI comes from and who the so-called quantum computer are getting their info from. Watching trains go by said, what a deal, made some spaghetti sauce for my mother tonight. She's going to turn into a lasagna tomorrow. Sorry, Hev. Oh, that's nice too. And Out to Lunch said, hey, eyes. And MJ said, yes, Hev, separate ways by Daughtry. Oh, hang on. Oh. Now I'm not even spelling it right. Separate ways. Daughtry. There it is. First one up. I think I'm going to have to listen. I'll get a copyright if I play it on here. I think I'm going to have to play it off screen. Sorry. Okay. I said, Jesus Christ, the Father will kill the wicked. Yep. Robin said, Charles ain't my king, lol. King Snurgle said, when Elon found out that he shat his pants and changed his mind about all tech. King Snurgle said, spiders on Mars. Are they giant spiders? George said, I'll be playing The Last of Us 2 and getting stoned. MJ said, King. Deb said, we love Hev. Oh, God love you. I love you guys too. You guys are excellent. Missy T said, hi, eyes. Erica said, I heard from Patriots we have good news coming our way. Oh, I can't wait. But I can see it all happening. Everything that we were told was going to happen, I can see it all happening. Bit by bit, little bit by little bit, it's all coming undone for them. MJ said, super soldiers talked about this. King Snurgle said, an arachnid race that survived the destruction of Mars will be controlling the entire AI network that will be running the crazy infrastructure the loonies have installed. Stu said, I'm racking my brain at the moment for a song for your voice. I'll find one, okay? Deb said, I'm not available on Saturday for anything because I'm on the Hev show. God love you. Kat said, I did sun gazing today, meditated into the ocean, then tonight we had a beautiful pink sunset. I should look for the moon. I'm outside. Out to Lunch said, Hev, you surely couldn't beat her bad. She only shares with us lucky loved ones, though. King Snurgle said, who would have thought that the smartest brains anywhere this place are a bunch of spiders? Kat says, so glad I moved across the country. Out to Lunch said, oh wait, she sang over the intercom at work though. MJ said, King, thank you. Luna said, I'm making lasagna from scratch, making the pasta and the sauce from scratch. Going to make my nonna proud for sure. Yum, Luna. Oh, even the pasta from scratch. That's something I've got to do. Darren said, is there a moon tonight, Kat? Wasn't it a full moon? It looked very full last night. It looked like an egg, actually, last night. Or maybe that's just my eyesight. I said, hey, Out to Lunch, hello. Kat said, last night was great. King Snurgle said, and that's why ETs have got to stop all this well beyond any pathetic human skills to stand a chance. Watching trains go by, said Luna, nice. Deb said, awesome, Luna, we're all coming for lasagna. My mouth's watering. MJ said, King World Wide Web. George said, hi, eyes. Kat said, oh my God, it's a blood moon. Oh, MJ said, Hopi prophecy. Out to Lunch said, flower moon. King Snurgle said, no, spiders were the hardest thing I ever had to get my head around. Took me decades to believe it. Kat said, kind of orange and full. Zal said, and remember that Doctor Who episode where the spiders were from Metabelis and took over humans by jumping on their back? What was the movie with giant spiders in it? I can't remember what the movie was. There's a movie with giant spiders that were jumping on people and eating them. Sal said, I remember that Doctor Who episode where the spiders are from Metabelis and took over humans. I read that. I said, oh, the planets are plasma, they're not rock, and no man or woman has ever entered space because they cannot pass the firmament. My mouth's watering so bad. I've got to keep swallowing. I can't pass the firmament and the Van Allen belt. Kat said, love it and God. Shannon said, look like a Epstein penis. Stu said, well, eyes, this is amazing. It's like relearning to walk again. Zal said, King, every animal, bird, bug, etc. in this world is a representation of life in the greater expanse. Luna said, when I make fresh lasagna like this, there's enough for at least 7 families. So there'll be enough. Oh my God. I'm on my way, Luna. Save some for me. Robin said tarantula. I don't know. There was one like 8-legged freaks. That's it. Watching trains go by. 8-legged freaks. I knew it was a weird, like a comedy sort of nearly type movie. King Snurgle said, I've mentioned technician created non-soul beings before. This spider arachnid race lived thousands of years and have collected memories. Yes, it was watching trains go by. It was 8-legged freaks. I knew I watched it like around the 90s, early 2000s, somewhere around then. Zal said there's no such thing as space. George says Stanley Kubrick directed the moon landing. No, it was definitely 8-legged freaks that I was talking about. The ones that were really big spiders, jumped on people's backs and ate them. Eyes to hear. Stu lol. Out to lunch says space troopers or something. King Snurgle said true because space travel is time travel through dimensionality. The main planets near us are real enough. Deb said, what time is dinner, Luna? Kat said the moon is incredible, but on the front of the house, I agree, flat earth since 2021. Deb said, I saw a deathbed confession yesterday. Really? Wow. Excellent. Okay, guys, it's nearly been 3.5 hours and I've got to ring my mum, so I'm going to go. Much love to you all, and I might be on tomorrow morning. It might be earlier than usual or later than usual. I'm not sure because, it might snow, so we'll see what happens. Watching trains go by, I said, oh God, is the movie that old already? My joints just ached in protest. MJ said they were in Hobbit and Harry Potter. Doesn't surprise me, little tells. Deb said Stanley moon landing, deathbed. I said, Hev, I've been 4 weeks since I've been on. Yeah, I know. I haven't seen you for ages. King Snurgle said an early horror film called Spiders from Mars was the truth being told. Carl said arachnophobia. No, but that was another good one. So anyway, guys, much love and have a good one. And I shall see you sometime tomorrow if it snows. If not, I'll make a video. How's that? Okay. Bye, guys.
I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago. I've changed for the better this time. I thought I would never be fine. I strive just to say I'm alright. And for the first time in a long time, I'm alright. I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays. Way back a year ago. I'm not falling. I'll push all my chips and call all in. I'll bet on myself, you keep stalling. I hear destiny and it's calling. I'll keep my head up high through the downs and lows. And we're all going live, still nobody knows. But I'ma choose what's right and take what comes and goes. And ain't no one in life holding me back no more. I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays. Way back a year ago. Back a year ago.